Hello. We are indeed now live. Sorry for the lateness. Welcome everybody to Addicted Podcast, episode number 27. We are joined by the usual ruffians, Madness, Biomechanical and Solitary, and we have a very special guest today. In the corner, lurking and taking my spot, is the THEASTROPUB, the one and the only. And when I fix his green screen, he'll look even better.
In now into the dock, and we can talk about that. It was fantastic.
It was a split second literally in the first minute of the last ATV. So if you weren't paying attention, you would have missed it.
Yeah, I'll try that in
any
ATV
better?
now.
Hopefully. I've just got it going through desktop audio instead. See if that works.
Very nice.
If not, I don't know. I'm at a loss. It was working fine before.
Now it's fine. Beautiful.
I don't know if it's just Discord that likes to screw up, or voice meter, or what the hell it is.
It doesn't matter whose channel we're on as well. We always have one problem. One person has a problem with Discord.
Now it's better.
Yeah, it's the Discord gods that are chasing us, guys.
I think it is. We're haunted. Right.
We are
okay.
haunted.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Addicted, episode 27. Today we're joined by these ruffians. No, okay. We'll forget that bit. So yeah, welcome everybody.
Whose channel is this being on, by the way, right now? Is this yours?
Unfortunately.
Okay.
The car crash is on mine. It's good.
For some reason I can't open Google Chrome, so I can't really host you at this moment in time. It's been really annoying.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, right then.
We've got my phone.
Forget that. Right, so
Okay, so let's kick it off then. Let's get going. What's everyone's week been? What you been up to? The usual kind of like. So let's start off with Miz, and we'll go across left to right. So Miz, how you been, dude?
I've been good. Apart from setting up audio for this damn thing, otherwise I've been going okay. I'm trying to think what I've been doing. Also, I did do some Star Citizen on Sunday. That was good fun. Managed to crash every ship I own. Get blown up. I think I managed to get to ICC mission 3, which is a new record for me for a while. I'm still yet to get to mission 9, unfortunately. Hopefully I'll get there one day. Other than that, yeah, a bit of GTA, and other stuff. Catching up with everything. So how about you, Madness?
This week's been pretty crazy. I kind of just carried on from where I did the Nox kind of like nose artwork. Bio had been telling me and saying to me, I've been complaining about shoes and sneakers and stuff. So, everyone's been moaning. I have to say, I've moaned so much about the footwear in the game that it would be very hypocritical of me not to at least have a go and put my money where my mouth is. So, I had a stab at it, and there's a few videos I've put up, 2 parts. I have been continuing to do other videos off stream and just messing around with stuff, which I will clip. And then I'm going to eventually, when it's finished, I will put a kind of a time-lapse video together to show from the start of the beginning of the creation right the way through in a couple minutes, hopefully. So rather than, because at the moment it's like 2-hour-long videos. If you're interested in Illustrator and how I use Illustrator, then obviously feel free to watch the videos. It's obviously quite long, but there will be a quick video. And I've also got some images. I don't know if Miz has dropped them up, but I do have some images in the document. So yeah, you can more than welcome to check them.
The document.
Oh,
He's basically trying to sell shoes via the podcast.
They're at the top of my name, on my name, Madness. So there's in the update. So there's a link to the video. We have to do the video link. I'll just put that in chat. But if people want to come to my YouTube channel, you can. There it is. And then Miz has got a picture of the latest where I'm at in terms of the side profile and the outsole, which I was working on the other night, just with like a very quick off, no mic stream. So yeah, this is what I do for a living. I am a shoe designer that's what I earn my money doing. So for me, I've literally just gone, let's do the process that I would do for a real shoe, and how would I make a real space boot. So this is like, how would I really, really make this using the same techniques that I do for real shoes. So I use Illustrator, and I tried to figure out, the mechanics. Like at the end of the day, this shoe design that I've done, I want it to have the Iron Man style landing, so I don't break my knees when I land. So, at the moment, there is no kind of seems to be no jet propulsion in your feet to kind of stop you from breaking your feet when you land. So that's why at the moment I'm putting in kind of jets and stuff, and you've got a heating and cooling system in place so that it keeps your feet cold when obviously you're in a hot planet, and then warm when you're in a cold planet.
Are they magnets?
And they got magnets. Yeah, the idea is they'll be like magnet boots. So the magnet will run all the way around the bottom, so you'll be able to
rim.
clamp yourself. Yeah, the rim, as it were. So there'll be a magnet there, and it'll kind of. I'm going to put like positive, and there's controls obviously on the side to kind of like activate the magnets, unclamp and things like that. Unclamp. So yeah, but that's it. So I've been doing that, and then I'm going to finish it, and then it's going to look sick, and then I'm going to do hoverboard next. So those are the kind of things I wanted to put in games, though. Boots to go with it. So that's and that's what I do. So
those are really good. Well done.
Very nice.
So I've read. That's the second iteration on the outsole, which looks much better than the first iteration I did. So I'm looking much better. Much better. It'd be very cool. It'd be very cool to do.
Me.
3D. So yeah, it's me. That's me.
Yeah. I've obviously, like most of you guys know, I've been working lately, and I don't always get a chance to stream when I get back because I'm shattered. But when I have streamed this week, I've had some really good streams. Detox, bless him, has hosted me pretty much every time I've streamed, and mostly all his viewers have stayed and spoken with me. Got 2 subscribers as well. So since literally within moments that thing came out, I got 2 subscribers. So thank you for those 2 people. It's Itru and Boozer.
Nice.
Yeah,
Ben was clearly drunk.
Yeah. But it was, but yeah, mainly I've been streaming Star Citizen and PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds.
Cool. And Soul?
We started on the new design for the stream. I'm going to rebrand the stream with some new stuff that I've been wanting to do for a while. I will be doing that over the week with some creative streams. So on Saturday, we're going to do a bit. I call it a release party. So I'm going to do a 12-hour stream on next week Saturday, where we're gonna do some nice giveaways, and we're gonna present the new brand, which also be used for the company that I'm starting, basically, which is in logo design, brand brand innovation, etc. And playing Hellion, I think I got a bit addicted to Hellion now, so that's probably going to take a big chunk of my week.
I'm amazed that you've got because it looks so boring.
No,
it does. I mean, I'm sorry.
It
looks really boring. I mean, as a game, it looks really boring. I watched it the first time and I was really like, I thought it would be fun, but then I kind of looked at it and I was like, I don't know how this is fun. But people seem to like it.
I think you need to like it. You need to be into that sort of detail stuff. I think. But it's a real neurophysics. Am I saying that correctly? It's real physics, real space physics. So it's pretty hard and really good. It's really good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Paul.
It was good. It was fantastic up until last night when
Just your tweet
literally at the end of the stream. At the end of the stream, my computer decided to do what it's been doing recently, which is every couple months or so, it killed the audio. You just can't hear anything from the audio. Audio just stops playing. Everything else works, but the audio, you can't adjust it or anything like that. So I had to go through and try to fix it the way I knew how to fix it, and then I fucked something up by doing that. So as a result, I ended up being like, oh, well, last night I spent all night trying to save all of my backup files, which didn't work. So then I had to completely reinstall my OS. Luckily, I had some stuff that's backed up on stream, but I'm now panicking, going around to my former artists and being like, hey, do you still have this one thing you made for me 4 months ago? Which is, always a bad idea when a lot of those artists are like, what?
Who are you? Oh,
who are you? Fuck, yeah. But other than that, it's been great. I've been doing a lot of Worlds Adrift because I'm addicted.
Yeah.
That thing has destroyed my life. Other than that, I did some Star Citizen on Friday. I did. We did Captain's Table on Saturday, which was really good. Last night we did Pantsless and Pachinki, and for PUBG, which is I call it the only Star Citizen, the only Twitch soap opera. So we play a whole thing up like that. So let's see. I've been doing some Hellion, and Hellion is good. It's rough but good. It's definitely one of those games there. If you want to know what it's kind of got the Star Citizen thing going for it. The only difference between it and Star Citizen is that Star Citizen isn't survival based, so it's a lot less brutal than Hellion is. and I've been looking into doing a lot more VR stuff recently. There's a couple of games that I got on Steam sale that I'm going to be playing VR for the stream.
How do you find like playing VR in terms of like nausea?
It's I would say 90% of the time I'm okay, but it's that 10% of the time where like something screws up with the sensors and you go from being like, oh, I'm fine to
okay. Oh, and what games have you played so far with VR?
I've done Job Simulator. I've done Star Trek Bridge Crew. I've done a game called Robo Recall for the Oculus. And there's like 3 or 4 other games that I purchased recently on there's either the Oculus sale or the sale for Steam, which I'm planning on picking up planning on playing on stream, as well as I'm going to try to pick up or try to do Elite Dangerous, since that's a full VR game that you can play now. So
okay. And which one's so far of those would you say is the one that you've enjoyed the most, that really kind of maximizes VR?
I would say probably Robo Recall, but that was built literally for the Oculus Touch controllers.
Okay.
But other than that, I would say the Bridge Crew is probably the closest thing to a real full game experience that exists on VR. Okay. It's only got like 3 or 4 missions for like the single player, but it's got a bunch of like randomly generated missions you do. Like individual missions you have to accomplish as a crew, and it depends on your choices, or you can just do completely random, and it can scales with difficulty and all sorts of things with your ranks and such. So it's a pretty good experience at the very least for just trolling, if not just a good time to play.
It looked like a good place to meet drunk crew. I mean, I saw Gamble play it a few times, and every time we did a random crew.
I will say it's a good place to meet a drunk Gamble. That's for sure.
Oh yeah!
Wow. I wondered if they would have the mission. You know, in the Star Trek movie, they have the unbeatable.
They do have it.
Do they have it in there?
Yeah, they do. It's the first mission.
Ah, it's the first mission. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
There you go. Shows you how much I watched.
Yeah.
Cool. And you can't pass it, right? It's unpassable.
You can't totally beat it. The Kobayashi Maru, like the OG Kobayashi Maru, is like the ship is drifted into enemy territory and you have to go try to rescue them. And in the game version, you can try to rescue as many as you can, but you can't rescue everyone from the Kobayashi Maru. There's no way you can.
Okay.
So.
That's, if anything, that's the only reason I'd want to do it.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Cool. Okay, so I think let's start on some Star Citizen stuff. I think. So the first thing we're gonna look at. No, we're not doing them yet. We'll save those for a little. We'll let the heat build up for a little while before we start going about those. So the first thing we were looking at is I think you've added some new stuff. So was it the cargo hauling? You had
So we had the first thing. Well, the very first thing was that I saw this on Reddit, and this was a new person's Star Citizen experience. So not the cargo hauling, but the spinning ship's gravity, which I thought was really interesting. So this was a link to their YouTube account, and so this was their very first. This was their very first.
Ship's supposed to do that?
Well, this was it. This was them, and I was kind of curious because I know that operate like we were talking about how you've got Hellion, Newtonian, physics and all the rest of it, and I know that they do the same thing here, where you have for every movement the thrusters moving one direction, they kind of counter it with the thrusters moving in another direction. It does break, and it does seem to not work.
I mean,
perfectly.
My ships do that already.
And know what I mean?
In the Aurora, I'm not being funny, but my Aurora does it all the time.
And do we know if this is they've improved this for 3.0, or is this still going? Do you think this is still going to be a thing going way on into the next 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4? It's going to be a constant because these bugs have been around for a while. I mean, ships spinning wild out of control. We've had the Saber doing it. We still have the Connie. You step out of a massive Connie, and all of a sudden it's drifting aimlessly off, and then maybe you might suddenly
crash.
Or it crashes, or it spins into.
All right. There's a couple things that they did. Specifically with this one is the reason why it spins out of control is because there is no the ship's off. When you step out of your seat, your ship turns off. And in this case, next time you step out of your seat, your ship is still on. Yeah. It's still working as a normal ship, so it'll function like a normal ship would. So I think that's the big key. So I don't know. They may fixed it, because there's also the bug issue where if you slam into the side of your ship as a player, your ship goes flying away because apparently your ship is made out of aluminum foil. You know,
no mass to it whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, it makes for very pretty graphics. Don't get me wrong, but it is tricky to get back in.
I mean,
so that was Go for it.
I was going to say it's to do with obviously as Paul was saying, the ship turning itself off. I mean, we don't really want that, do we? When we get out of the seat, you should have to tell it, you should turn it off yourself before getting out of the seat, rather than it automatically doing it.
You should just the shields in theory should do either the shields should come off, or maybe the shield should stay on, but there should be a setting where, as a human person, you can kind of go out of the shields without any damage to you or something. Do you know what I mean? Rather than the whole thing shutting down.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, obviously, people come and shoot your ship and destroy your ship. So I wonder if there's a setting where you can leave the shields on to keep your ship protected rather than switching off everything. Do you know what I mean? The whole ship literally is super vulnerable. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if this is going to change with the new item system where you're able to have more control over the different buttons and stuff. So maybe you will be able to leave the shields on and turn something else off, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I have to wait and see when we're on
Wait and see. Wait and see.
So we've got a couple of CIG quotes up.
This literally just dropped in. So this was to do with cargo holding physics update from Spectrum. So I haven't fully had a chance to read it, but it says here, so the more cargo you pack, the flight model will compensate, but the amount of fuel burn and energy required to do so will increase. So there will be an impact on your increased cargo hold, stopping time, acceleration time will be hurt because it's displacing more mass. And the more out of the alignment your cargo is, the more the IFCS will have to compensate. So storing everything on the port side of your ship is going to cost you more fuel.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the case forever, though, hasn't it been? I remember when people ripping off pieces of their ship to go faster.
Yeah.
In some cases, that's always been a situation with the game.
Yeah, so it's not a surprise that that's going to happen. It was kind of always planned. Is that what this rest of this conversation is as well?
That was it. That's it. Just you can put it in chat. It's just a link. It was just basically
so you can
if people are interested in
mass and stuff. Yeah.
People are interested in the full conversation. I will link it in chat now, and you guys can go ahead and read it to your heart's content. So that was interesting, and then that was it for me for Reddit. Unless anyone's seen anything extra, most of it is still, as always, mostly trash. So. We kind of sift through that. I sift through.
Reddit. You're mostly trash.
It is mostly trash.
It is.
But there's some good bits. I try to pick out some good bits. There's a good few questions usually that pop up as well, which I always enjoy reading some of the questions, and then I read the answers, and that's where I do get a lot of information, and for myself, learn a lot more about the game from people such as Paul and other backers who've been backing and following this game even longer than I have. So the next thing was the subscribers town hall, which was the character tech team highlight.
It didn't show anything off, but they did have a good discussion about what sort of things to come, things to expect that's coming in Star Citizen, and I suppose some things, it's kind of obvious what they were talking about, and we've heard a lot of it before, the layers to the clothing and things like that. But there was a couple of little snippets that they said which... Maybe, I don't know if they've said it before, but it just seemed a bit interesting. So one of those was the cloaks, because someone asked the question whether we'd be able to wear cloaks and things.
Yeah.
And they on top of armor. I think it's different if you wear it on top of the normal clothing because of the way they've set it up, but on top of armor specifically. And they basically said no, at least it's not currently possible and probably unlikely. And the reason for this was to do with the fact that all armor's different shapes and sizes. And I suppose if you've played any other game that sticks cloaks and things on, they kind of don't worry about it clipping through, which is probably why they use cloaks. They stick them on and you notice it'll clip through your armor or clip through your legs, and they don't really care. But obviously
that's a shame though. If you look at that, when you typed it behind there, the Nomad armor, where you basically had a light armor variant with the poncho over it. Let's call it that way. I like that, man. I think that's sick.
That's built into the armor. That's built into the armor.
Armor piece.
It's not another piece. It's not another port on top of the armor.
Yeah, so that was going to be the second part of that explanation, is that basically to have cloaks, it's going to be part of the armor design. So the Nomad was actually built into the armor design. So you will get cloaks, but you can't. So
hoods and cloaks and things, but they'll be armor based. They're not going to be another layer on top of the armor.
I did like their comment that said, and if you had heavy armor on, you won't be able to hide it because you're a walking tent.
Yes, yes, you will look like a tent. Very good.
Well, I mean, it also leaves it open for the chance that you would have like a stealth armor, like an armor where you would be like, it would be armor, but it just looks like a piece of clothing over it.
Yeah.
For like, I could imagine something like that for traders or something like that, where it's not gonna help you from like a shotgun blast to the chest at point blank, but if someone takes a pistol shot at you from a distance, it might like ding it off a little bit, or just like prevent you from dying instantly in a combat situation.
They did confirm that. They said that clothes will have the armor function going forward. So clothes will look cool, like you're saying about stealth. You could have body armor built into just a normal jacket, and it will have a degree of it will be a armor layer, so it won't be the base layer. It will be
maybe this is linked to
clothing layer with armor.
Yeah, maybe that's linked to like the stabbing and stuff, because when you see the melee combat, maybe that will add some armor towards the melee combat side of things.
I just think they
some sort of a chainmail thing that like stops knives and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think so. I think they've seen, obviously they've been watching John Wick 2 when he goes to the tailor and gets his suit made with Kevlar woven, advanced thin Kevlar woven into his suit jacket and stuff. So
or Daredevil when he goes to get his made.
Yeah, exactly. I think I like that because it enables you to have sleeker, smarter looking, and like you're saying about stealth as well, I'm curious to see if we'll have, you'll be able to be on a desert planet and you'll be able to put a combat stealth camo suit on, so it makes you kind of blend in, especially if you're kind of hiding and waiting at a point to snipe somebody to kill them or put a trap up. You want to be able to blend in almost so you're invisible, right, into the environment. So it'll be exciting to see color ups and camo. We've already got the digi print for the Comet, so why can't we have camo prints for our armor and stuff to try and make us even more blend into the desert? How cool is that going to be?
I just want Nomad's armor. That's all I want. Nomad's armor. I love it.
It's really cool, but I would swap the Nomad's armor over to have a camo, so I literally become almost invisible. That would be fantastic.
I really like Paul's idea that for me as a future trader / logistics guy to have a still sleek looking suit that still protects me from someone trying to shoot me with a gun. That's pretty damn awesome,
There still could be, if the clothing are going to have armor statuses, there still could be something like a vest that would work like a shirt that you would wear, and the game would qualify it as a shirt that has a different armor variant. But it's not going to be a light armor. We're not talking about like, it's like the difference today between like, if you wear full combat armor in any of the major militaries in the world today, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. You can't put like a suit
on that.
over like a giant Kevlar breastplate that's designed to stop AK-47 rounds. That ain't going to happen.
It'd be like seeing the Hulk in the suit, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it could blend in with your clothes, obviously, with the same armor pattern or the same color pattern or color scheme,
Yeah, but there are bulletproof vests you can wear that go underneath shirts and underneath like police stab vests, kind of thing, where they wear them underneath their uniforms and it can protect them fine. But they're not going to be those stab vests aren't going to protect you against like a laser round from an ATT-4, from a certain distance away, or a railgun. You're just gonna chum. But
you still get that hole in your stomach.
Yeah. But the point is being that those could still exist in game, and I would imagine they'd actually exist. It would make sense, A, in lore, and B, in gameplay mechanics, because you're gonna have people who are going to make clandestine. Like, I'm gonna go talk to what's his name. The dude who one of the mission givers in
not Miles Eckhart.
Yeah, Miles Eckhart. If I go talk to Miles Eckhart, I'm going to him with some kind of armor, and I'm coming packed with lots of guns.
But you don't want to walk
in
full suit like hello.
Yeah, I don't want to walk up like Iron Man, and be like, "What's the mission?"
I want to go in like James Bond.
What's the matter? I totally trust you. I totally do.
There's no double crossing here. But
I'm not spinning up my minigun on my arm or anything right now.
But on top of that, I mean, it's supposed to be kind of a semi-shady deal, some of these. I mean, you're not going to walk up to a shady... I mean, that would be interesting if they put that in the subsumption. Will he talk to you if you come in fully dressed in your full armour? Or whether you've got to wear something a little bit more casual so that it's not like, oh, yeah, we're just doing a dodgy deal over here. Don't mind me in my full armour plate and everything
You
else.
walk in and you wonder where he is. He's hiding under the table from you.
No. I wouldn't be surprised if they make you have to take off things like armor and stuff to go into certain areas in stations.
That would be
and stuff.
good.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
You have to.
Person with a gun.
You have to, that's they talked about concealment and how when you go in, even they showed it on Levski showing the gates and stuff to go through, like styles, where you have to concealment. They've talked about concealment as well, and like how you can get things going, hiding things and getting through customs and stuff. So I thoroughly imagine those lockers will be used to store your suits and you'll have your because you've got your base. You have your base layer, so you can wear clothes underneath. Can you wear? I think you can wear clothes underneath your base layer as well, right? Can you? Mm-hmm. Is it clothes and then the base layer and then the? Yeah. I have to check. I'll have to double check in terms of the layer process.
The whole layer
because body
naked. I think you've got your clothes. Then you have the
undersuit. Yes,
undersuit, and the undersuit is basically your EVA suit. So you won't be able to go out into space unless you've got at least an undersuit on. But I think that goes on top of your clothes.
A helmet. You have to have a helmet. You can go out into space. You can't. You will last a few seons.
Imagine yourself going through these gates that we I think we showed them last week on the podcast, and you walk through these gates with your UE armor, and the dude behind the gate said, "Dude, can you please take your belt off?"
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And your shoes.
Turn around.
Oh, you're gonna have
turn
to
around and cough.
If they put my shoes into the game, I'll be quite happy taking them off and holding them on the side. But these are my shoes.
These ones.
these precious babies. Put these through. There's no problem.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know how they're going to do the changing clothes. I mean, do you think it's going to stay the same way as it is now? You just kind of use the locker and you're changed. Because especially now it's going to be... Because they said that basically it's all going to be split up so you can put on arms, legs, different bits separately so you don't have to have the full suit on. So will it just ultimately put it all on? Or how do you think that's going to work?
That's why I hope that they put a locker in the ships. Because then is it a planet with atmosphere, right? Or is it not? No, it's not, right?
There is a planet with atmosphere.
All right, there you go. So you take your stuff off in your ship, you leave it there, and you walk out in your suit or in your casual clothes. Maybe.
Your Mobi-Glass, I think, is where you'll open up the cupboard, and then your Mobi-Glass will probably activate, and you'll probably have access to like your space custom thing, and you'll probably have your suit. You'll probably brings your figure up, and then you'll probably have be able to kind of like choose probably inventory or whatever, and you might be able to have, and you might be able to have a permanent locker space that you rent or something for a certain fee where you can store clothes and stuff and goods and things like that at the station, maybe, or you can access from the spaceship. Maybe you can access from your ship your clothes, because at the end of the day it's a computer game, right?
Yeah, I mean, is that going to be the same as so they've said that your ships, if you land them on one planet and leave them there and go to another planet, you're not going to be able to get them. Is that going to happen with clothes? If you put your heavy armor on one locker or something, does it mean you're not going to get access to it on a different planet, or do you think you'll have that access?
I think it would make more sense to have it on your spaceship. So when you take your your ship becomes almost like a cargo thing. So if you lose your spaceship, get destroyed or whatever, it adds more value to that ship in terms of not losing shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because so then, unless you insure the stuff, obviously, but generally, you can keep stuff at the stations, and then you can keep stuff on your ship, and then if you travel to another station, only the stuff that's on your ship can be then used when you get off. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, and that way you'd have to walk around naked, maybe in your pants and socks.
It depends if it comes under item persistence, doesn't it? The armor, I suppose, because that is coming in, isn't it? Persistence.
That's what I hope they do. Yeah, that's my view.
So maybe it's going to be something that it's going to encourage you to use your ship more for all of that sort of stuff, especially for your personal entry, because start leaving it in your bases and stuff, and you're not going to have access to it.
It's going to make you want to start using more of the inside of your ship, just flying.
And it gives rewards for pirates as well. If you think about people who looting your ship, then they know that they're potentially you could be carrying expensive armor, you could be carrying expensive weapons, you could be carrying expensive goods, because you want to take it with you, so that way when someone boards your ship, there's a good chance they will make a profit, not just on the ship, but potentially they know they're going to get some goods. They will probably get some armor, and it could be really good. You could have a really state-of-the-art piece of armor on board, and you'd be like, woohoo, What's up, boys?
And you can't simply carry that under your arm,
definitely.
can you, as you're going in?
You know what I mean?
I think that's where Miserable's wish to have a mobile camper van comes in really close. Microwave, suits.
My flying Winnebago.
You're flying Winnebago, yeah. I think that's where we see that.
Well, because that is a bit of a question, because we've kind of got, at the moment, because everybody's got little pods to sleep in on these like larger ships, you haven't got much in the way of storage for, unlike on a bigger ship, if it's not just a personal one.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Well,
definitely
I
right.
mean, it's the same as, like, so we said if you're going to store your stuff on your ship, if you leave that ship then on another planet and go to another planet with a different ship, again, all your stuff's going to be stored on that ship as well. So
Yeah, we left there. Yeah. And potential be
It brings
stolen.
in for some tactical gameplay, you know. If you go into your ship and you leave your suit somewhere, you might have to. You're basically, if you go to a station and you need to get out, you're basically fucked. You know what I mean? So
you're going to need a lot of EVA suits.
And I think people will definitely start stocking up on EVA suits if that is the case. You know. Yeah, it's a special one. I see where Bio is coming, or Album is coming from in the sense of. It's
Really?
good for gameplay.
Wow, I made a point. Woo! Hang on a minute. Yes.
The champ is there.
Hell yeah. Hang on, let me just show it off.
No,
You've got to
do
show it
not
off.
show the
No,
team.
sit down.
Block it off, block it off, block it off.
Oh god, don't start. Don't
You
start that.
can.
But
Look at the body of a champ right there.
you want to keep it a game, you know what I mean? You want to keep it a game, but it brings for some good tactical gameplay. I think there's many views on that. You know, but how far do you want to go? You know, how far?
Well, that's
do
it.
you
I mean,
wanna go,
they
and how do you
want the
wanna make that
balance
interesting?
between gameplay and fun as well. But if you're going to have that sort of thing, it's probably going to have to be a system where your inventory is going to be stuck to that ship, especially if you can't carry too much as well. So
Yeah, and they need to limit. I think they should make it so that on the planets and stations you can rent obviously certain types of locker size. The bigger the locker, the more money it costs to rent it. You can have more inventory potentially, or more slots or spaces or whatever you want to call it. So
Well,
you can
actually,
store more gear.
that's what the hangars are. Like,
Yeah,
we still don't know how they're going to be able to. Like, I think the goal is still to be able to fly into a hangar and land.
Yeah.
But the goal is, like, say if you're just dropping off cargo, you line on a pad and you just discard your cargo. But if you're like, hey, I need a landing or a hangar, then they'll be like, all right, you get this hangar or go to this hangar, and that hangar will store all your stuff. You have to pay for it, but that's going to be the place where you store all your stuff. You'll have like a wardrobe in there and everything else like that, I'm sure. They just haven't had that in there yet. So
yeah. But I mean, your hangar's going to be obviously at a certain location. So again, if you're leaving half your stuff there, you're going to have to keep going back to get like a different suit and things all the time. But I mean, do you think you're likely? What would you likely do? Keep your ships in your hangar and always fly back to your hangar, or are you likely to?
no. I mean, the one thing that I would say that probably makes sense is that you probably would have a set of clothing. Like it's an MMO. Like we all like various types of clothing, but we're probably going to have a set of clothing you'll carry with you everywhere you go, and you'll have maybe a suit and a piece of armor, and the suit you'll be wearing when you're flying around because it'll have like the G lock stuff, so you don't pass out as quickly. And then you get into your armor when you're going to go out and do something other than like flying. And if you're out and about in the town, you'll have that suit like squirreled away. And even if you look like the beta has like two storage places, like two like lockers for clothing and armor. You know that. So like,
Yeah.
and they're like 7 or 10 storage places on a Connie. So it's just about enough for like every person to have two pieces of clothing stored, two sets of clothing stored. Mm-hmm. But we'll see. I think we'll start seeing possibly, at least in early versions of this, magical disappearing clothing that you can just pull out everywhere, but it'll happen eventually. So.
I mean that's exactly a good point though, isn't it? Because it's the same as like say your helmet, for example. They've already said that you're not going to have an MMO style bag where you can stick everything in there. But if you're going to be going most places, they're saying like your EVA suit with a helmet, are you going to be? Is that going to be the same way as it is now, where you just go to the locker at an exit of as the hangar door, as the airlocks, and just get the helmet out that way, because you're not going to want to carry your helmet around with you either, like as you go into the shops or into the bar.
Are you kidding me? I'm just gonna take my helmet off and throw it at people. That's I'm carrying it around just be like, hey, jackass, serve me.
I think
so. You want one way to get their attention, I suppose.
It does mean that like the kind of the dramatic moment, or not the kind of the drama of putting your clothes on before you leave the spaceship is going to be quite long. You'll be, all right, I've got my pants on, I've got my socks on, I've got my 3-piece suit on, I've got my undersuit on, I've got my armor on, and then and you got your tie. It's going to be quite it's quite a lot of layers there. I mean, seriously, you're going to be quite sweaty, I would imagine, by the time you've kind of taken all that off.
I don't think sweat's in the game.
I think like the best way they could go about it is something like GTA does, where you can have like certain clothing sets that you set. So this is a clothing set, but you can always go into your wardrobe and be like, all right, I want to have let's check out how many ties I've got. Let's see if I've got like that badass shirt that I have, or like the duster. Let's see how they look together. That doesn't look right, and you change things around as you go. Yeah. But then you find out, oh, this is a look I want. You save that as a preset like outfit. And then instead of like being like, I've got to get my tie on, get my suit on, it's like we have now, where you just like, you pop up and be like, oh, cool, that one, I'll just grab that and just instantly pop you into the suit.
Yeah,
I
think that would make the most sense. It
could be that they make you interact with these boxes that are in front of the doors at the station that you mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. It could be that these boxes are the same everywhere, and that you can just interact them in the way that Paul says, where you have your preset costumes, and you need to interact with that box to get that preset costume, for example.
Yeah,
that would be a good way to do it, I think. And it's everywhere the same, so you're not worrying, as Matnet says. If what is his name, Miles Eckhart, is waiting for you, you don't have to put your whole them shit on. You run into the station, you switch around, you run through the gates, and you go out again. And you put your EVA suit in again. Some sort of an instance.
You don't get where they go, oh shit, I left my casuals on yellow or something. Gotta go all the way back.
You take your suit off, you're like, oh damn, I forgot to get dressed this morning.
So yeah,
maybe the Mobiglass will be Tessa. Maybe the voice of Tessa will be. You have the option to put the voice of Tessa, and she can be like, you can like Batman talks to Giles. Like, I need the bat suit.
Pants on today.
You can call in. You can call in the special suit from your ship, and it'll kind of arrive. It'll kind of launch in a little pod. That would be kind of dope, wouldn't it? Like, I need my camo armor. And Tessa's like, no problem, and then just like sends it out, and it arrives near you. Or something. You have to go to the beacon to get to it.
Problem.
It's a little extra mission.
Honestly, it's a situation they're gonna like. It's just one of those things you don't think about, but it's something they're gonna have to think about in terms of like, how are they going to deal with it? Because the way they currently deal with it is basically every single locker in the universe has your specific suit, and it's like 3D printing your suit instantly so you can get your stuff back if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But they also said storage capacity is going to be a thing. So like we know that like the Explorer armor has a backpack that comes with it. You might be able to like put clothing or some stuff in your backpack, so that when you get into a pressurized environment, you can pull it out of your backpack and put it on. Yeah. But otherwise, we don't know like how are you going to be able to switch between them. Like if you're on a truck stop and you have to land in vacuum, you're going to walk in with a suit, with your EVA suit. You're not going to put on a suit and tie when you're walking into a truck stop. Yeah. And that may be the case for a lot of places which have no atmosphere. So if they're going to expect people to be able to wear civilian clothing, be like, oh, you have to come to Levski, you have to have a civilian clothing. It's like, well, yeah, you have to have civilian clothing to go into Levski, but how the fuck am I going to wear civilian clothing when I have to walk in here in an EVA suit?
Yeah, exactly. You've got to be able to change, but you can't. And then you can't have like, I don't know. You're not going to be able to go to one stop and go, oh crap, I've left this suit on that planet, and this. What planet did I leave that suit on?
Yeah.
I know it was somewhere, but I can't remember. I can't even find the clothes on my own wardrobe. Let alone what planet it's on or what ship it's.
By the way, guys,
ship locker it's in.
I do apologise if I've now delayed 3.0 for another 6 months with the idea of having suits being.
Where to put your suit?
Disco has corrected me, Alfred, calling in Alfred to come and get your bat suit sent to you in space. So I do apologise, guys, if that is now delayed. Chris Roberts is like, God damn it! Quick, emergency call! I've got an idea. Shit.
I fully expect magical appearing clothing to happen for several patches until they discovered this out. But who cares? It's an MMO. It's how that works.
Yeah, I mean, like you have got a balance between actually being able to get the stuff that you've got and just reality of it being somewhere else all the time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll just fly in boxes everywhere and just not worry.
You'll just underscore it and be naked all the time. You know.
Exactly. Who needs clothes?
The naturist in space.
Okay, so we'll move swiftly on from that one. So one of the other things that they talked about was they're not doing any robots, but they are looking at giant armor suits and Titan suits, basically.
Yeah.
What
So I
happened
linked
to my Lucent robots? What happened to it?
I linked in because they basically they said giant suits and that you can drive. So that basically for me immediately went, okay, so it's not going to be like Anthem style suits because you've already got body armor and stuff. So it's going to be proper size. Like I put in a picture of, I put in Avatar, yeah, exactly like Paul's like going mechs. It's going to be, it feels like it's going to be Alien-esque exosuit, or like District 9 exosuit, much.
What's that game called?
Titanfall, Metal Gear Solid Wreck, Metal Gear maybe kind of styly. That would be pretty sick too.
That would be cool, yeah. That would be very, very cool.
Yeah, I would like that a lot actually. So yeah, so that's the Avatar kind of, we've all seen Avatar.
Do you think they're going to be like
the kind of
suits,
PvP element again that you can implement in summer, something like that?
Yeah.
You know?
So
I think.
Go on.
Go for it. No, you go.
I was just going to say, do we think they're going to be more utility-based for like loading up cargo, moving things, or do we think they're going to be combat-based, or both?
I think both.
Universal.
Yeah, I think both. I think they'll be cargo.
Kind of like the Argo personnel and the cargo, you just change the arms on it, I suppose.
Yeah, I think what will happen is we'll probably see something like a stripped-down version of a Titan being used to like load cargo and stuff like that. But then the armored up version of the Titan will be like the Titans will be like they've described them like what was the suits in PlanetSide 2? The special heavy suits you could get at like if you unlocked them, I think was how it worked.
Yeah.
Those suits, I can't remember the name of them. But those suits is what they described them originally as. But I'm imagining something like we saw in like the Matrix, or something that's very lightweight, nothing that's huge, but something that's like maybe like
an exosuit,
8 to 10, like an exosuit. Yeah, something to cross like in game terms, like something between a mech and a power armor from Fallout.
So not too crazy like these images we've got here, which may be a little bit big, whereas the Fallout suit you kind of just climb into it and it's slightly bigger. It just makes you a bit more, makes you a bit stronger and everything else.
You wear I'm imagining you will wear the Titan suits. You won't be piloting the Titan suits. The Max. Thank you.
Well, so you think that because they okay? So say that again. So Paul, so you're saying Astro? Sorry, I apologize. So you're saying sorry.
Just call him Pub.
Pub. What's up? No, so you're saying that again. So you're saying not drive? Did you say, or are you saying?
I don't think you're going to be piloting a mech in this game. I think you'll be wearing the suit. It'll just be like any other suit you put on. The difference is that it's not. I don't think it's going to be a place where you're like you can put on a Titan chest and then heavy arms, but like it'll be a one-piece suit that you have to you have to wear. You might be able to replace parts on it, but you have to like wear all of them together in order for them to function.
They did specifically say that it will be driven though in the the thing. So do you think they'll change that then?
No, if they said driven, it'll be driven. But I don't. But the thing is that the problem about driving something is that when you look to start.
It's a giant.
It means huge. It's massive.
They did say giant suits and driven, so
because then that becomes an issue of like, whoa, where the fuck are you using these? Like then it becomes the only place you're using these is on giant like carrier hangars or in atmosphere planets or on planets. It won't be something you'll be able to use on say like a constellation. Yeah,
Well,
You might be able to fit one in like a Starfarer in like its cargo hold. But that's the thing, is you have to think about it in terms of scale.
Yeah, look at the size of ships.
If it's
ships are huge though. I mean,
there'll probably be a ship made for them.
It could be used to go with the Retaliator. Or
I would say the
Reclaimer. Sorry, Reclaimer, Redeemer. Is it Redeemer or Reclaimer? I think
the Redeemer, the dropship. I would love to see the new Redeemer built around the idea of dropping Titans on battlefield. So you could like carry Titans and it's like cargo bay and open up and drop the Titans down, or drop like Marines. You know, that would be a really good idea. I think a lot of people have asked for like the Redeemer to be a vehicle carrying dropship compared to all the other dropships we have, which are all troop based. So
yeah, that would make a lot of sense to me.
You don't want to turn it into a meta, you know what I mean? Where everyone is walking around with one of these suits because it's the most powerful thing. Yeah. So it's a tough one. Where are you going to implement it? Do you have certain areas where you can wear it? Do you have certain areas where you can't wear it? It's interesting to see.
You're not walking into our core with a Titan.
You're not going to go up to Mars Eckhart and say, "Now I really trust you."
But so you're thinking we'd have the military rover style then? So a variation on the rover would be a military kind of like bit like an alien, kind of all fully armored, like black and rolling wheels, and kind of like that would be dropped off the back of a.
I think we'll have to have that eventually. I mean, I like that. We need lots of ground vehicles, and the idea of the UEE not having ground vehicles is dumb. You should have armored ground vehicles, and it didn't make sense to do it when we didn't have ground, but now we have ground. So I can imagine we know that ground vehicles aren't as complicated as ships are right now because they have to be smaller to be able to fit into ships. But so they usually don't. And we've already seen like I remember Sean Tracy saying something to the effect of like they can do a tank. It's easy for them to do a tank. Vehicles are normal for like Lumberyard can handle ground vehicles, tracked vehicles quite easily compared to spaceships. So
we saw how quickly turn the Nox around. So I mean, it wouldn't be unfeasible that they could turn around some quick land-based vehicles, I'd imagine.
Going back to the Titan armor as well, though. Like the other thing is, there's quite a lot of if they didn't want to make it too military based, there's a lot of utility type things it can be used for, especially like mining as well. You imagine them having like mining suits and maybe drills on the arm and stuff like that to make you go into maybe mining situations that you wouldn't be able to do without a suit like that.
I'd love the Titans to be able to be modular like that, where it's a frame that you could either make a military frame or you can make it construction, like having these things that with like EVA packs flying around and like repairing large ships, kind of like an SCV from StarCraft, or also like loading cargo or mining or salvaging or
carrying them suits you've got.
Do you think this is going to sound a bit silly, but like Pacific Rim style, we had two people piloting the huge giant suits of armor and stuff. Do you think they would be? I mean, that's probably too big, but they could be a place for a dual kind of piloted Titan suits.
2 in 1 suit, maybe.
Possibly. I mean,
it depends how big.
I have to refer back to one of the thing that everyone goes back to when you're talking to mechs and these large suits, which is anime. And there's a couple of animes that I think off the top of my head that did have like relatively big, like twice the size of a human big kind of mech suits that had dual pilots on them. Like one which was like doing the arms and like controlling everything, while the other one focused on just driving the actual armor. So yeah, I could see that.
Could have the Power Ranger mech,
Or combine to make one giant. We're getting Transforming style.
That'll make a good podcast show, won't it? All of us combine.
You can see it now. I can see it now again. Chris Roberts. God damn these guys! Stop
talking.
Just stop now. Stop giving people ideas.
God damn it. Good fun.
Okay.
So that I love talking about this stuff because like it's so much speculation. We know that they do take a lot of references from science fiction films. I mean, you just have to see some of the ships to see the nods to Alien, to all the rest of it. I firmly believe it will look like a alien exosuit for loading cargo and things like that. I really do think that will be and also that those ships that'll be used to salvage ships as well, to pick up parts of ships and move them around and all this good stuff. I'm looking forward to that.
I think even the Drake styling album would be nice. You know, the way they designed the interior of the ship. Just for the utility suits. Maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
As Astro said, the cargo loading, the mining, with like a bit of Bastion from Overwatch. You know what I mean? Like with the pipes and the lines, and it would be cool though. It would be. I'd
like to see a non-combat version first, if I'm being honest, rather than the combat version first. I'd rather because I think there's a lot to explore first combat-wise in terms of just with what we've got, and I'd love to see non-combat first.
I think it'd probably be better, instead of thinking them as this just armors, thinking them as like mini ships, kind of like how we have the Dragonfly and the Nox. If you think of them as mini ships, then it becomes easier to build them because you can build like a base frame and then build out the super armored combat version that carries like 5 size 2 guns on it or whatever, and then you can also build out the one that can put like a tractor beam on it, and like, you know, because if you start thinking them, if they're going to be piloting them, you have to start thinking of them as ships rather than
they can have LTI.
Here we go. Woo! Money.
The thing with mechs though, like I can only see them really when they're coming in is when people are able to kind of, as an org, build bases and like on a planet, so you can have something to actually protect.
Yeah.
That's when they would.
Well, no, not if they got them as utility. They don't need to be just for.
No, I'm talking about the fighting. Fighting work.
That's why I don't want the fighting first. I want the utility. We need that first, and then
the fighting ones would be nice, but the fighting ones would only be helpful for like dedicated mercenary role players who are planning on going on the very rare occasion where they have to assault a pirate base on a planet. And they have 7 people and the pirates have 30, you know, and so they have to force multiply and have like 1 or 2 mechs to help them out so they don't have to worry about it. But
even it out.
Yeah, I'd like them. For example, I would use them to like some of the big ships, like a Javelin, for example. You drop, say you got your Prowler, you can carry 2 mech suits and the rest of your soldiers on heavy and mix up and stuff, and you drop them down onto the back of the Javelin, and their job ultimately is to break the hull to get in, so that the rest of the guys can get through and get in through the, you know, you breach. Because the reality is the holes and stuff aren't going to be big enough probably for these 10-foot, 12-foot, 15-foot mechs to get through. So ultimately their job is only going to be to get you in, and then the rest of it is down to your soldiers to do the rest, you know, because once you get inside, I like the fact that I hope that they definitely make it so you have to get out. You know, you can't walk, you can't just, you know,
you're not going to
do everything.
I mean, they haven't built like, you know, you look at Port Olisar and stuff, they haven't built doors big enough to start walking in with massive mech armor. So, you know, sort of definitely more ground level or outside type of vehicles, if you like.
The garages on Lasky would maybe fit it.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be like maybe
crunched over. Someone in a mech buying their groceries.
yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I can see Paul sitting in a mech with like the tie on and two shopping bags.
I can see power armor. I think Fallout power armor style, where they have the little cage and the kind of the mech suits are all kind of just sat in that kind of style where they're like plugged into charge, and then you can kind of, you know, they're outside type of thing, or in a kind of like a I suppose a bike rack kind of system or whatever, like a bike shed, and they're all lined up, and you can kind of go in there and pick up your mech suit. The way I would look at it.
Yeah,
a couple kids having a cigarette around the corner next to them.
Can you put that on the stream? There's a link in chat.
What's that? Oh, nice. Ooh. That's my O face right there. How the hell did you find that?
It reminds me, like, I was watching Meyer like years ago, and when his stream froze like that, and I got this perfect image that I always use to blackmail him, of him just going.
We can use this one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's going to be a meme already. I can tell it. Meme everywhere. Boom.
Okay, so I think overall most people seem to be happy with the Titan Armour. I mean, Bristol Boy is not, and I think there are some people that don't like the idea of it being in there. But I think overall, I think it can add a lot more to the game. I think it's
I want them with anti-air as well. That's my thing. There's not enough anti-air like defense things to take. We've got the railgun, but in terms of if obviously people flying in ships, I think obviously having a anti-air mech suit or anti-air carrying loads of rockets or whatever that can fire, rattlers or torpedo, whatever, at spaceships to try and stop people from pad camping you and things.
Yeah.
Then there's a good place for those type of vehicles. I think that'd be really useful, especially I hope they introduce that for combat side, but I don't want that yet. I want the cargo versions first. Yeah, utility first.
Moving on from what else they said was that basically all the characters that they've done is having yet another rework. So because of all this clothing and all the new tools that they've got and everything else, so it's going up to the next level. So it should be exciting to see how better they are.
Yeah, because they're doing everything because of the all item 2.0 and everything's just being polished, increasing the polish. And they said that literally, if you look back at the old speech that Gary Oldman did in terms of the face and everything there, how much more they've moved that on, and they're really excited to show us what that looks like now. So that's going to look even more polished and even better than what it did, and it looked good back then when they were just showing the tech. Now it's like even better. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I have to say that speech done again. That's going to be exciting.
When are they going to stop though? Like every time you see it, it's like, well, that was the old models, and we've improved it so much now, and now we'll go through and do it again. And then it's like, well, we've improved it now. We'll do it all again. Like, when do you think?
It's a feature creep thing, isn't it?
When do you think they're going to be? Is this going to be their last pass? Are they going to be happy with that, or is technology going to get better and they're going to do even more updates to the?
We know Chris Roberts by now. We know what he's going to do. It's what Album says. He got something into his head, and he wants to do it. You know what I mean? And it's going to happen.
It's confirmed. I mean, we will be getting Alfred. Will be in our vehicles now. There's no question. He will be
confirmed.
In the rover. Confirmed in the rover.
Confirmed.
We'll be calling in Alfred to get our bat suits. It's confirmed. He's watching. I've seen. I've got him on speed dial. He just sent me a message just right now. No, joking. So they're going to. But that's normal though. They're going to keep upgrading the graphics and they'll keep adding. Hopefully, with the Delta Patcher, we'll no longer. It won't stop. So we won't have these huge waits for things. They'll hopefully be able to say, okay, we'll tell you what, guys. We'll update the graphics.
Yeah.
Star Citizen 10, whatever, or Star Citizen 2.
To help get bug
when the game's gone live.
Well, won't it?
They at some point, they have to. They really do. Someone's got to literally just bend Chris's ear and say, Chris, we really do need to deliver the game now.
It's done. You can't get any more fidelity other than putting a live person's head on the screen.
People can't. People can't see 4K. It's the eyes, subconscious level now. Shit, Chris. We're at subconscious level.
Listen, it's that.
But it's good.
It's how driven Chris is that delivers a game that we're seeing now, which is slowly evolving, and I appreciate that. But it's what you guys say. You want at some point you want to box it off and say, okay, we've gone very far now. Let's make it. Let's. It's what I said last time. I don't mind waiting a bit longer if things are fixed. You know what I mean? I don't want to see 23 patches after 3.0 release. Maybe 1 or 2.
Well, why do we have Grand Theft Auto 5? Grand Theft Auto 6, Grand Theft Auto 7. Eventually,
because they want to make more money.
But of course they want to make more money. But my point is, at some point, this is the graphics, this is the package that we've got, and this is the game.
I mean, we'll get that.
Wait a few years.
You can't keep updating it during development. It has to be released. But I'm just wondering, do you think this is going to be the last pass, or do we think we're going to get another pass?
I think
it's a lot of work to keep updating it and then moving on, isn't it?
Yeah. I think this is pretty. We're getting close to. They've already talked about the tools being finished. They said that the guys in the chat, they were talking about how proud they are of where the tools were. They had no tools, and now they have a lot of tools. I mean, they're still adding tools. They're adding more clothes and armor functions and tools. They're adding more things all the time. But in terms of where they were and where they are now, there's a lot more tools in place for them to use. So especially on animations and face and quality. So I think there'll be a bit more, but I think the curve is much less now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think we're getting there to the point where I think there'll be it will be very minimal changes in terms of upgrade. I don't think it's going to be complete overhauls anymore until the next Star Citizen 2000.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, so we'll move on from that.
That's my view. It's just me.
So the other thing they said was just like you're going to be able to get like bionic eyes and stuff if I think after several deaths. You're going to have things like scars and facial tattoos and things like that. Well, they're not confirmed it, but you've put will be.
I have to make myself die a few times to make myself.
They said the scars and facial stuff. The tattoos aren't confirmed because I think they actually said something on tattoos and they were like, whoa, hang on a minute, we're just playing with this rather than people thinking it's in. So it's not confirmed, but it is confirmed. It is and it is. You know what I mean? It's like we're not from shouldn't say anything, but if you're playing with it,
all Mike Tyson up in this shit. Yeah, is that what it is?
It will be done. The bionic eyes. I was just going to say on the bionic eyes. Did we notice? Do you remember the helmet they showed, which had the eye kind of like Star Trek Borg-esque?
Oh, the miner's one.
Yeah, the miner's
outfit.
And then they talked about they got a bionic eye. So I was like, maybe there will be a link with the eye and the helmet, like we were saying before on our podcast. We're saying how maybe there will be this kind of linking, so maybe the first-person view will be able to. I don't know if any of you guys have played Telltale Borderlands stories. Yeah, and then where one of the characters got the bionic eye, and you can kind of press Q on the keyboard, and then it gives you a whole other screen option in the display, a bit like a Terminator style. So maybe we'll.
I think they can't do that because well, not if you're going to get that. As in you're not going to get that unless it's as a death thing. Like, we need to give you a bionic eye because you died. I mean, if you pay for it, because otherwise it's unfair. You're going to have people literally suiciding. Shoot me in the eye, please, quick! Just shoot me in the eye, and because I want to get one of these bionic eyes. You can't offer the bionic stuff unless it's something you can go and buy.
Here's the thing about that, though. I think they've said this before: is that by installing bionic stuff, because there's plenty of people who are like, wait, you can get bionic stuff? I'm just going to make myself a cyborg, a full cyborg. and there's going to be a disadvantage, like EMP grenades. Like, if I got an EMP grenade, which we know will exist, and I know someone I'm facing has bionic stuff, I just chuck an EMP grenade, and suddenly they're just like... and they can't move, they can't see, they can't do anything.
So for me, I'll just have a limp arm. You do it to me.
but that's the thing. It's like that's the disadvantage.
Say, come here.
Suddenly you become a motionless piece of hunk of metal, and having some people are like, oh, well, what if I make it hard? And it's like, no, it's balance reasons. At the end of the day, having bionic material should be an advantage, but it also should have a huge disadvantage for someone just to be like, oh, a robot. EMP grenade. I'm just going to walk up to you and pop you in the back of the head while you're like flopping around on the floor because of physics issues, whatever.
But there is a difference between having it from worn, from like your multiple deaths and being forced to have it because your arm's no good anymore, to choosing it as cosmetic because you think it's got an advantage.
Yeah, there is a difference, but I don't think there's really a difference in terms of the idea.
But do you think they're going to let you just have it, or do you think it's going to be through death only?
I think you could cosmetically attach them. I think you can choose that.
Yeah.
But it'll also probably remove something like, I don't know if they're still doing the same system they said with the Death of a Salesman in terms of the lives, but I'm sure it'll do something like that'll remove some of your lives. So
do you think you'll be able to put it back? So, say for example, you take a bionic eye off.
Let's just pull that old hump of that old.
That arm I took off last week. Can you put it back on again?
I've changed my mind.
Refund.
I don't think this is what I wanted. This is the colour.
30-day trial.
Death of a Spaceman. My bad. I said.
No, my eye back.
Yeah, can I have it back? Oh, sorry.
We're all thinking of Death of a Salesman, really.
Imagine someone with these bionic eyes dogfighting, and an Avenger with an EMP comes by and just drops it on him. The screen goes completely black.
Yeah. Well, I like that though. Again, it's adding for like we were just saying. It's for every like it's for every action there's a reaction. So for every bionic there's a EMP. It's the same thing. It's in game. It's this. I like that. That's why. That's why I hate torpedoes, because there's no countermeasure. But that's what I'm saying is there should always be the yin and the yang, and I think I like that about this game, that they are always looking into that. So bionic stuff, have it in. But yeah, I agree. EMPs completely mess it up.
Let it so that I can choose. I'll definitely choose a bionicle eye and have parts of me.
But the thing is, I imagine the advantages of a bionic eye are going to be limited, because all the stuff you can get with bionic eyes, you could probably get It's just the differences between like, hey, I've got a bionic eye versus
it's for covert stuff. So, for example, like you were saying, you're walking into a sales meeting with a giant helmet on with like a sensor and stuff reading. You're gonna be people will be like, are you kind of scanning? You know, whereas if you've got the bionic eye, then maybe it's not so obvious and a bit more subtle, and you can kind of read it gives you extra mission kind of parameters and enables you to kind of look at different things in a mission scenario that you wouldn't. Gives you more subsumption and new missions that open up to you that wouldn't normally be there. You know, that stuff. Tony Z is going to go crazy.
I think at the very, very least, it's going to be a balance. The balance will be, you're going to be tougher against like regular fire, but simple EMP is going to totally wreck you. And we know that, like, for instance, there's going to be less than lethal weapons. And so there may be a weapon that's totally designed to take on like the Titans, like designed to well, not the railgun, but like something that's designed to like knock out Titans. Like we have the sucker punches. Maybe there's going to be a mini version of the sucker punches that you can carry on your shoulder and fire at it. So if you see some dude with like bionic legs and arms and like eyes, you just take out your bionic pacifier and just shoot at him once, and he's on the floor. It has to be something it's got a huge advantage, but it has a major weakness, a huge flaw. So that
they're prepared against it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, and then it's all that balancing, and then they need to make sure that it's not completely pointless, because everyone's like, oh well, bionic legs are shit, because the minute that somebody drops a little grenade next to you, you're completely paralyzed.
You're dragging one leg,
so no one ever does it. Then you could say, well, actually, the bionic legs enable you to be more swift at moving away from a chaff grenade that's been dropped. So you can sense it, and then poof, you can get away a bit more. So if you're not really paying attention, it catches you out. But if you're actually paying attention, you can get away.
Maybe they might do it so EMPs don't fully stop people; they will slow you down.
Yes, This is exactly a short delay, or slow.
And I can imagine. I can imagine EMP grenades hitting you. Even in an armor, they can do things like screw up your vision.
That's what I was about to say as well. Make it look like it's hacked, kind of.
In Titanfall, they have that where you throw your EMP grenades, and then suddenly your screen just goes. You just can't see shit. So it's a good way of countering that as well.
Because it could have other reasons. Oxygen and everything else is going to be through this breathing system as well, so all that can be messed up with EMP grenades as well, I would have thought.
Yeah, that probably. To agree, probably.
Depends. They like old school retro. This is retro future as well, so they have switches and dials for all that shit as well.
Yeah, not necessarily so much mess up the actual link of it, but your display of it. If it's your HUD and stuff of it, what you see.
Yeah. Well, they talked about battle damage. So people talked about battle damage to armors and stuff, and this is something I was curious about. And they talked about it. It's not actually something that they've done in the past yet, and it's not actually implemented, but it more than likely will happen at some point. But the reason why it won't is very much to do with the armor has very specific demands to spaceships. So the way the spaceship damage is set up and the way they do the UVing and all the layers and stuff is actually very different to the armor and the way that they do it. So it would require. I think it will happen, but I think it's a bit further away. I think they're going to have to do a whole kind of proof of concept, proof of concept of this stuff. So it will come, but right now it's not done. So don't expect
like the pierced undersuits that they showed off. Where did that come from? But we've seen nothing else against that for a while.
Because I would like to see, like you were saying, Paul, about Titanfall, like the cracked screens and stuff. Like when your helmet takes damage, you start to lose information, and you get cracked. Your helmet gets cracked, and
I'm sure client side that's easy. Client side that's pretty easy. That spray of like stuff might be something that you'd see client side, but no one else would see it, so where the leak is. Or if your screen is cracked, then that you're about to lose pressure in your faceplate, but no one else may be able to see it. I mean, to a degree, that's kind of immersion breaking, but when you get down to brass tacks, like they're getting down to. They're getting down to those brass tacks of like what works, what doesn't, and this game has so much information points that you're gonna have to start dropping some information points to make it, or simplifying some information points to be able to get everything in. And when it comes down to it, having your faceplate crack for everybody and blow out for everyone is cool if you're in an FPS game, but it's not just a solely FPS game. So needs to be some compromises for the sake of everyone being able to have higher FPSs and other things like that. So that's fine.
Yeah, that's what they said. They said that at the end of the day, we have to choose. You might have to choose between whether you've got 6 players in an instance or 30 players, or 6 players in a ship and 30 players in a ship. And if it's a choice, we would rather choose the 30 players rather than having the ability to see cracks, damage.
And
like
less fidelity on some things.
Yes.
I know this is further on in ATV.
Sure.
They were mentioning as well, like they had to change the.
We're not in ATV.
No, I'm just quickly saying because we're talking about like server and stuff. That the engine trails, they've had to put that through GPU, didn't it? Because it was using so much on the CPU.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah,
yeah, it is.
So.
I see what you mean.
Thank you, Bummer. Thank you for that.
With the blowout,
jumping in.
Thanks for jumping in the section of ATV, but it's fine. It's okay.
Thank you.
Anyway, so I think that's
whatever.
That's
I was talking about
the town hall covered.
We love you, Bummer.
Roll on.
Right.
Okay,
right,
so let's go on to ATV, shall we?
Yes.
Which we've kind of touched upon it as well with what we're talking about. But
that was strategically done. Pyro just basically moved us beautifully. So
yeah,
we can go. We will start off with what TheASTROPUB basically showed us. So it's literally within the first minute or whatever of the ATV, which people might have missed, and you have to have the sound on Miz for this bit because
I don't know the sounds with it, but I'll try.
It should be on there. There should be a sound. Should be on there on the.
Or to be fair, this is so recent that when I caught it after when I thought about it and like it finally processed in my brain. It was after I'd already done even my podcast. It was like yesterday. I was like, holy fuck, they said this. Yeah. I can't believe they said this.
So they said it has. They said it has the new. I'll say it now, and then we can hear it. They said it has the new ships, the new armor, and the new bits, and like.
Astro about the kiosks that you buy.
Yeah, he said it's got the new ships. So does that mean? I'm guessing we're not going to buy ships, or does this mean that it's just the kiosk like we have currently now? It'll just show Cutlass map.
The kiosks are designed for purchasing,
buying stuff. Yeah.
They're the buying kiosks. You don't have like the kiosk we have now that we go up and you just go, hey, I want this ship. That's not going to be the same. Those aren't the kiosks they're talking about. They're talking about going up to a kiosk.
So when you're on ArtCorp and you see like the stuff on the table, but there'd be like a screen you can use and literally purchase stuff. So I'll play the clip now anyway. I don't know how long it is, but we'll play that.
It's really quick. It's really short, but
has
just
all
hear
the new ships, new items, new armor suits. And working on it, Pete McKay. Has all the new ships, new items, new armor suits, and working on it. Pete McKay has all the new ships, new items.
Yeah, so just basically what you just said. So it has the new ships, new items, and all that good stuff, basically. So yeah, I mean, I presume that we're going to carry on with the Alpha UEC, and hopefully that means that we can actually start trading and doing cargo runs and using that to buy the ships rather than rent them. Hopefully.
So what that would be
in chat for everyone as well, guys. So you guys can watch it to yourself, to your heart's content.
Yeah,
there it is.
It could be Max right. It could be of an accidental slip, and it could mean something completely different. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is that they've been saying for a while that they wanted to put ships in 3.0, purchasable ships in 3.0, and they've been talking a lot about this. This specifically was a lot of talking about how you balance economy. So if they're figuring out how to balance the economy because they have the larger and smaller ships and stuff, and they talk about that throughout the update about how they're trying to figure out the balance for the costs of items and stuff like that. And now that they have more items and larger items in game, they can kind of balance it properly. I would imagine that means ships, and I personally have been a very big proponent that they need to put ships. Myself, I think probably everyone in this podcast, everyone I've talked to who's been part of this game in some way, shape, or form in terms of fans or content creators has basically said they need to put ships in 3.0, purchasable ships in 3.0.
What ships do you reckon they'll put in?
All the ships that we have that are currently available for fly.
Full.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like,
you know what it is, though, Paul? They would destroy their own.
Hang on.
They won't though. They won't though. That's the thing.
They won't.
Did when they allowed ships to be rented in by what was it called by Rec?
Rec, yeah.
Did that destroy Did that destroy the economy of people buying ships? No.
I can see it now. Like you can buy ships in game, but every update would wipe it clean.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Have to do it again.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's normal. That's normal for an alpha or beta release. You're going to have it wiped. So the idea is that you can work towards something and earn it, but we know that it's 2 to 6 months sometimes between patches. So it makes complete sense to have something like that happen for long term between say 3.1 and 3.0 and 3.1.
So,
just because.
So hang on. So are we? So let me get this straight. So just so I'm clear, because I like the pop-up version of everything.
Yeah.
So what we're saying here is that technically you would rent the ships at the moment. You wouldn't buy the ships.
No, at the moment
they wouldn't be yours permanently.
Yes, and then so every patch it would wipe, and then you'd have to earn those ships back again.
Yeah.
Yes, because all your credits wiped, don't they?
Well, then that makes total sense. Then they should.
It won't really be rent in like same way that you can rent with renting with Rec. Like right now when you're renting with Rec, there's like a 3-day
7-day token.
7-day token. But this case you would have it, you buy it, you go in game, you earn it, you purchase it, and you would have that until the wipe.
I mean, the easiest way to think of it is right now you can go in and you can buy a shotgun. You own that shotgun, but you only own it until they wipe the server, and it'll be exactly the same as that. So you can go in and own it. It doesn't go into your off-game inventory. It's just literally you buy it, you own that ship, and then when they wipe it all, you'll go back to whatever it is you own in your hangar.
I think that would increase sales.
It would increase sales.
I love this ship, I'm going to buy it.
The first patch that would come in and wipe it, but then how does that affect the Delta? Because this is the thing is if the Delta patch is going to be incremental small patch changes, will they still maintain larger?
They won't wipe. Of course they will.
Well with the big large patch. So you think they'll be like large, and then that will be. So we have the big numbers, the 3.1s, the 3.2s. Those will be the white points, and then the small ones, the 3.1.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, will be Delta patch.
Anything, no.
That won't wipe anything.
Exactly.
Yes and no.
And they can actually choose not to.
It depends if it's a major update. Yeah.
That's what I was just going to say. If something that they add affects the economy or something like that, or they want to change something, then they'll wipe it whenever they want to wipe it. They'll say, right, this next patch is going to come with a wipe because we've rebalanced something or we've changed the prices on this. It's their choice whether they choose to wipe it or not. Or they're forced to. Or we've added this kiosk in, and unfortunately it means all your game's screwed. We're going to have to wipe all the stuff that you own, basically.
Yeah. I'd imagine that the Delta patcher is mostly for bug fixes, small things, maybe additions of ships, because we know that like ships aren't a huge addition. But when you're talking about things like mining or salvaging or an entire solar system, that's a pretty big add, which would make sense to release around a lot of other big ads so that you can test it properly against each other and then release that. Whereas the Delta patcher is there just to make sure that people aren't screwed in the short term. And then when you have the large patches, it's still going to be a Delta patcher patch because it's only just going to change what's on top of it.
It's going to be bigger.
It's just going to be a bigger
Delta patcher.
If you think about this, they still do stuff like that for other games. Hellion recently did that. They saved up a lot of their content, tested it, made sure it worked properly, had testers check it, like they're in their own PTU, their own Evocati kind of style build, and then they released it to everybody else as a large patch. Rather than, and it was still an incremental patch. It was still brought on top of everything else, but it was a big thing. The other thing is that don't underestimate the value of large patches as hype machines, as ways that you can promote your game to bring it into the news.
Can I ask a question to you then? Where does that affect the Voyager Direct kind of like current buying things?
Voyager Direct sucks. The Voyager Direct needs to die. It needs to have died.
Does anyone
years
ever
ago?
use it?
Thank you. Good. So you would say it's got to die, because I was looking at it thinking what you were saying. I was thinking the reality is for that to work, they have to kill that. Otherwise, potentially, I was just thinking about how you don't, for them making money, obviously, because again, as a business, you want to make maximum amount of money. They could have a system where it's like, how in Grand Theft Auto, you get shark cards. So people, rather than having to wait. For example, say for example, a Retaliator, someone was saying about, people are going to be in torp boats. Okay, maybe they'll be able to get a Gladiator, but it takes a week of grinding for it. Retaliator might take 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So basically, you only get it really for, it takes a long, long time. So people might want to buy with real money shark cards in order to boost their funds so they can have it. No, but I know, but they would not. I don't. It's not rocket science to figure that shit out. Honestly, it took me 2 seconds, and I was just thinking that could be another revenue stream for them, or and then it becomes bit of a pay to win scenario. So maybe they won't do that.
Well,
I don't know.
What I would say is that the Voyager Direct store doesn't need to go anywhere. It just needs to evolve. It needs to change from being a store where you buy guns and a bunch of other game things that affect gameplay, and change from that to being something that's more like a cosmetics store where you can buy your buggy and your skins and stuff like that. Or you want that plant for your hangar, go in and buy it in the in the Voyager Direct store. The problem is that the Voyager Direct store may even go kaputski when they bring in the new website. Like the problem is at this point is that they're dealing with redesigning the website from scratch because the website is garbage. It is hot garbage. It's a dumpster fire of bad design.
I'm glad you're saying that because that's what I normally say.
It's terrible. It's horrible. Nobody likes it. No one in the even like everyone I've talked to, even in CIG, is like, yeah, our website sucks.
But I've seen on some other ones, and we've talked about this before. There are some other web pages from other big, well-known games which aren't that good either.
No.
We're talking about Star Citizen, and I have to spend about 20 minutes showing people how to
navigate it.
Well, I tried to find some details about the CitizenCon meetup and like where the bar citizen is, and it took me ages to find out where it was buried, the information of where the bar citizen was, and it was like I had to then find that it was in the news 2 weeks ago. And it's like, wow, really, something as big as that? It's just like we hidden it away straight away. It's terrible. It really needs that update.
Things drown in the website at the moment because they're putting so much on. So something that is pretty recent disappears very quickly because they're ramming all this other information on. It needs to be laid out better, and
but it's coming.
It's what Manon says. Yeah,
it is coming.
And I still don't get Spectrum. I might be a dumbass, but I sometimes think, I'm not even going to look. I'm not even going to. Although it has improved a lot,
Can I just say, on the Spectrum, do you know what my biggest kind of grumble with Spectrum is there's a lot of other information seems to get missed on the left hand side. I don't know if it's how you bookmark stuff, but it always just has like general chat. And people always like, I watch Oxford stream, he's always grumbling like, what, this is the wrong place to put this comment. This is the wrong place to put this comment. I'm like, that's because Spectrum sucks. Like you can't figure out where to put half of this shit. As a new person, I didn't know where. It took me like 3 attempts before I realized, there's a fan made section. Oh my God, I couldn't find this section before. Now I see it. And then I'm like, this is where my shoes go, And then I go, this is where my shoes go. 2 people have viewed it in the last 3 days because
nobody watches it.
No one fucking knows that. They'll go to general. It's like, fuck's sake, come on.
Basically, general is this pit for everything.
Yeah,
everything.
Exactly. And I was like,
the answer is that people do Reddit style viewing. They want a front page that you go through and you find all the cool stuff. And having a front page that's not postable but has the top posts for everything, and then going through and actually going to the individual locations for things that exist would make sense as well, because most people don't interact. Like I can't tell you the last time I've actually used Spectrum. I haven't used the website for anything other than buying stuff for the stream for years. Like I think I used to be active on the forums in 2013 was the last time I was majorly active in the forums. And because the forums just they're not really conducive for, even Spectrum's not really conducive for people to actually interact with each other unless you have your own small community in there. Otherwise, fuck it.
It's almost like a completely different community to what you're meeting when you're going on all these streams and stuff. It's like a completely.
They don't come here. They don't come. They don't come to Twitch. They don't come to Reddit. They don't. They're completely.
They just
different
live on them forums. It's like we're here to stay.
They're old school. You can just sense they feel like they've kind of
we're here to
grown
know
roots.
You can't do nothing
roots
about it.
around the type. That's their medium. But I just think I agree, and I think they just. Yeah, anyway, if I was, because I don't want it to be a Spectrum conversation, but for the first time, as someone that's actually starting to use Spectrum as a medium and kind of like using it, because you want to use every media to either to kind of advertise yourself, advertise the show, advertise all sorts of stuff, and get out there.
Branding.
That was just one, very much. Branding. I noticed that was one thing, and Reddit seems to do it very well. They have the little words next to it. Anyway, moving on.
One of the things that we'll go back to the ATV. One of the things that they were talking about was, we kind of covered it then, but they actually said that they were doing. So they've done a new pass on the mission rewards, the respawn timers, and also insurance prices. So I'm wondering if that's going to link into what we're saying about buying your own ships from the kiosk. So maybe they're going to start taking insurance into account for those sort of things. Maybe more than what we've got, where it's just you've crashed your ship, pay extra to get it quicker. I don't know. Maybe not. But they've
we're going to start seeing the actual insurance ratios. But they actually added that. That was one of the things they said, that insurance is done. Like, I don't know what insurance is. They haven't discussed it. I think that'd be a good topic for an ATV. Is discussing insurance, even though it's boring as hell for most people. Like you will sit there and be like, "This is like the
madness can moan like fuck about it."
Well, I was thinking, like,
he's lost for words. He's like, yeah, I'll moan like fuck. How boring it is.
I was thinking about we were talking about insurance, and I was thinking about again the Mobiglass and the interface, and I was thinking, all right, I've crashed my rover. It's blown up. I'm 3 hours from my spaceship. So either the Mobiglass is going to be able to call my ship. Yeah, either tough. Either the Mobiglass is either I self-kill, like we would do currently now, to respawn somewhere. But we know with persistent death, that's probably not going to be a good idea to kill yourself. So will we be able to call the insurance broker and say, hey, would you be able to land me in the next few minutes or whatever, a brand new rover? But this is, again, I'm using it as a reference. Or will it be... Do you know what I mean? Because they are going to be...
They did say we're going to have like distress beacons. I mean, is that going to count for that sort of thing as well, if you're just stranding on the planet because you've crashed your damn rover? I mean, I'm screwed because I'm going to be stranded all the time.
Call your insurance broker, be like, I need roadside assistance right now.
AA, AAA.
Aurora down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to wait.
Mrs. crashed again.
For a certain amount of time.
You
put the beacon down.
Designate a mechanic and a medic to you from Addicted. They're going to follow you everywhere you go. Just like be ready for it.
It'll be a dope feature though, because then you call it, you put your beacon down, and the signal goes out across the entire planet that everybody can see. There's a person stranded there, so you're almost
Let's go shoot him.
Yeah.
Or you can just bring up Uber taxi, and they take you back to your ship.
For example.
And you're calling a new ship, exactly, and you're calling in a new ship to come in and land. So that means that you're immediately giving your position away. So you have a choice: you either leg it back for 2 hours, so you avoid potentially losing whatever it is, or you risk calling in a replacement ship and being killed twice or once in this case, and losing your replacement ship. I don't know. I'm always thinking about. I'm trying to think about extra gameplay stuff.
In Hellion, they do it like you get a new ship, but it comes completely stripped down, so you don't get anything with it. So all your warp cells are gone, all your tools are gone. It's basically a stripped down version of your ship. They could do it that way, especially with the LTI stuff. We had a big discussion going on about all this LTI stuff. Everyone went wild. LTI here. We need LTI. We need LTI. Yeah. Then Chris Roberts said, "No, you don't need LTI." Everyone went completely freaking wild. You know what I mean? It's like, I think someone in my stream asked me the other day. He said, Bram, can I buy a ship in game and put LTI on it? No, you can't do that. I think we have the discussion, madness. I can't remember.
We had a very long discussion last week. Yeah, everyone's going. You can move on now. You can.
All I know is I've got every ship of mine is.
We have discussed LTI. I do think there could be a get out clause for Chris Roberts if he just puts it on your first life. LTI is for your first life only. After you're dead, your LTI token goes.
Possibly. Anyway, we won't do that one again.
Scandal. Scandal. Everyone's happy.
So the other thing they mentioned was adding more NPCs into the PU landing zones. So hopefully, this is something that Madness has been going on.
Bring it to life.
About is that the game doesn't feel alive at the moment, and there's no NPCs and that. So hopefully, by the sound of it, they're saying they want to bring it to life a bit more by sticking NPCs and stuff.
On about it.
You go on a lot of things, man.
It's one of your many.
One of your many things.
I think he's right though, but you want to feel a bit more alive.
Yes,
I'm just right.
I'm just saying this.
Yeah, but you know they're going to come out and then Manus is going to go, too many. It's too much alive. I don't like it.
It's too busy. I could be a solo on my own planet, on my own moon, barren moon, just me on my own with my farm. I don't want there's too many people around. There's just too many people.
shaking your shotgun at rocks. You know?
Get off my property!
The last spaceman alive. What's it? The last man alive kind of style, just with a really big beard, just roaming around the planet. With my long johns on.
I honestly don't think we're going to see a lot of NPCs in 3.0, though, to be fair. Like, I don't think we're going to see anything but the kiosk workers and stuff like that.
They said they're adding some, but whether it's... Do you know when they did the fly-through, one of the Gamescom or something, and they did the walk through Levski, and there was people standing there? I think maybe we'll get that. You know, I don't think they're going to interact with you, and are probably not going to do much other than just stand around looking like they're having a conversation or something. Or just maybe drinking, but yeah, they're probably not going to get too many because it'll, depending on the FPS that we're going to be able to get chucked through, whether that takes up too much frames for people. So maybe, I mean, they said they're adding some, and they're trying to bring it to life. So we're definitely got to expect to see some.
I think we'll see something like the bar patrons at Levski, and maybe some of the bars at like Grimhex, and will be filled. But we'll see some people walking like inside, like we do now, where we have like an NPC that's sitting behind a counter. Instead of them just sitting behind a counter, they'll be like doing stuff and walking around and stuff like that. But other than that, other than that, I don't think we'll see much.
Not only that, we will be getting this. We'll be able to sit in a stall. And then
yes,
the THEASTROPUB
we will actually we can actually sit in a stall in 3.0, which is sounds crazy as like a exciting thing.
Yeah, how exciting is this? Cool. We can go.
You're
to
probably
the pub.
find they've just managed to get it to stop spinning you around constantly.
So yeah, it's I don't know. They've shown a lot of like NPCs doing the automatic picking up glasses and stuff. So whether, like you said, whether we get a bit of, maybe they'll just flesh out the bar areas a bit more. And leave it at that, rather than people walking around so much, maybe. But yeah, sitting on a stool, woo!
Sitting on a stool.
You want a bit of life, you know. You want the feeling that something is going on, you know, especially in the stations and stuff. You want it to feel a little bit.
I mean, that's going to come, isn't it?
Although we will create that ourselves as well. I think if everyone's running around there, it will feel obviously more alive. But yeah, it's what Paul says. Get the bars a bit filled up. Get the general areas a bit filled up. You know, you don't have to.
Of course, THEASTROPUB wants the bars to be filled
up first.
Just get nothing else. Just get the bars. That's
the rest of Levski. Just want people to buy
I fully expect to go on Levski, to go to Levski and clip behind the bar, and then just like push the guy who's actually out of the bar and sit there and wait until someone shows up and be like,
"Yeah, welcome to the THEASTROPUB."
And I'll just say, "Yeah, can't wait for VIP." She'd be like, "Welcome to the THEASTROPUB." Be like,
"What?
NPCs can talk?"
So gonna roleplay. It's gonna be brilliant.
Yeah, if you can get the voice thing in as well, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, so roleplay audio, that would be hilarious.
My name is Paul. Welcome to the THEASTROPUB.
Yeah.
So, one of the things I did miss, just going back a little bit, was on the armor on one of the bits on ATV. They did actually show that they had split the armor up as well now. So, you'll be able to buy separate parts of the armor, like the chests and everything else.
You can have a light helmet. Well, this is the thing: do you think you'll be like, right, okay, I want to have the light armor for my body, but I want to have a really, really strong helmet because we all know headshots seem to matter. So we'll be running around with the heavy armor helmet and light armor, everything else.
Fit together.
Well, they said
no. I think you will be able to do that. What they said you can't do is you won't be able to have like clothing, like going in your t-shirt and then just stick on heavy arms or walk around with just heavy legs or just boots. So it'll be part of the armor set. So I think you'll be able to mix and match the armor set. But not with casual clothing, I think.
I know that unless the view's terrible from the Bumblebee helmet, I will be wearing the heavy armor helmet because we all know 2-3 headshots and you're dead. So you'd want to reduce the headshot damage. That's where all the kills come from if you're in playing Star Marine.
I'm pretty sure what's going to happen with Star Marine as well is there's going to be a weight mechanic to a degree in terms of speed. So like you have a heavy armor helmet, you're going to...
around everywhere. Oh my god! Hang on a minute. I need to increase my neck muscles to hold the helmet.
but I mean, in all reality, like if you're running around, the stamina will decrease faster because you have a piece of heavy armor on than you would be otherwise.
No,
and as much as headshots are a danger, like I can sprint like with light armor now. I can sprint around the map stop and shoot somebody in the back of the head with a shotgun, point blank. Even if the sway was making my gun go like this, if I'm running around in a light armor, I can easily walk up behind someone and still pull the trigger with a shotgun in the back of the head. It doesn't matter if you have a heavy armor or helmet or not, you're dead. So like it's going to be some balance issues, but I can guarantee you in the PU there'll be little reason not to have a heavy armor helmet if you're going to go into combat. Like, you know, I'd expect to have like nothing but fully heavy armored dudes just running around the PU fighting, doing FPS matches, you know. FPS missions.
Because I mean, it's also interesting that they said that obviously about flying the ships, they haven't quite decided on what sort of level of armor that you can wear while flying the ship. So I mean, if there's a certain piece that's blocking you, are you going to wear like all heavy and then just a medium chest piece so you can fit behind the controls? Or I mean, are they just going to go away from not using armor at all? The
light chest piece.
I hope they have presets as well, where you can have you have like 2 or 3 presets of like loadouts that you believe is the best for flying or whatever you want to do. So you can just literally say, I want preset 1 of my gear in my hold or whatever, and it loads it straight up for you. Do you know what I mean? So you don't
I think it's kind of what we were talking about before, isn't it? I think you probably will be able to save sets, so it would speed up changing what you want to wear.
It has to be there. It definitely has to be there. I think otherwise you will be faffing for a long time.
The disadvantage that you have with a light armor is that you only can wear 1 gun as well. I think the medium and the heavy come with the option to wear 2 grenades and 2 guns. So it's obviously your play style is going to determine as well what you're going to wear. You know, am I comfortable with only a shotgun or a ballistic rifle? Okay, let's go light. I can be quicker. As I said, you already notice it in Star Marine. If you wear a heavy armor, or is it medium that is in Star Marine?
Medium.
You're already slower. You're already slower than and all the big players, the good players, the top 10 players all run light armor with 1 gun. You know, and it's just so quick. It's unbelievable. It's you think where the hell are they coming from?
I produced the latest SC4 tournament when we did Star Marine, and the mixed loadouts you saw was very, very important, and every single person in those matches had their own role. You'd have someone running around with light armor with a sniper rifle, but you'd also have someone backing them up with medium armor with like a kind of short to mid-range weapon, so that if that person got in trouble, the person with the short mid-range weapon could step up with the heavier armor and defend them. Whereas like that guy in the light armor was just would camp a capture point and just hold it down, like destroy entire teams, and all they had was light armor and a sniper rifle. You know, cool. So the balance it can be there, especially if they work it right. And with the stamina system, I can imagine the lighter you are, the faster you can run, the less tired you're going to be when you're done. So that way you have. It's easier for me to sprint up to you in a light armor, dodge your bullets, or dodge your slow moving, kind of trying to track me, and then get up right behind you and shoot you and not have the huge weapon sway. Whereas if you're in heavy armor and you're running, you'll like it takes you like 15 minutes to get into a battle. The second you get there, it's like you're a train that can't be stopped. But at that point, the battle could be lost. So that's the balance when it comes to it.
So what you're saying is
you hope the sound is going to be good as well. You know? So
what you're saying is you want to have a spaceship that's got lots of stairs.
Yes. What I'm saying is buy a Starfarer. Because I don't think heavy armor can climb up those ladders.
He's got to back up and his head gets through and then he's just stuck and he's like, guys, just his legs hanging out of off the ladder as he's stuck in one of the. And you can crawl. I mean, that would probably work though, like crawling in the maintenance tunnels and stuff, because they got that, haven't they? Like if you've got heavy armor and you just can't fit.
Well, that could be the case for people wearing, like we were talking about, having even lighter armor. So you're wearing just the exos, just a standard suit, so you can creep into those. It's got a bit of armor, even lighter armor than lighter armor, and you can get into even the smaller kind of areas to kind of get through into areas and stuff. That would be really like stealth styly, kind of creeping into people's ships and stuff to sabotage or kind of lay bombs or whatever else. That would be sick. I love all that stuff.
I hope that
Splinter Cell style.
Yeah.
I hope that they're gonna make sound very important as well. You know, someone that comes up in heavy armor makes a lot more noise than someone that comes up in a light armor. That creates again tactical thinking. You know, am I gonna run down in that heavy armor and someone hears me come from 100 meters, or am I going to use that light armor that's going to use make a lot less sound, but I'm a bit more vulnerable. You know, it's it makes for a lot of tactical things, I think, as well.
Cool. Right, so there's definitely a lot of different interesting points from there. And the next thing they mentioned was more stuff on Miles Eckhart again. He's saying that, I'll just put the video up, but he's now able to register things that are on the table and things like that. So he'll pick up and interact with the cup that's in front of him, and maybe if you buy him a drink, he'll go on a date with you. No, he just register it. No, but it said it's working with subsumption and things like that as well. So they've managed to, I'm guessing that this man is going to start realizing your sort of standing with them. So whether he wants to talk to you and things like that, I would have thought.
I have a major issue with Miles Eckhart in this picture.
You always have a major issue with Miles Eckhart.
Is that new armor doesn't look right.
His face is fine. They've done a great job on improving the face in terms of, like, the way that it's got the wrinkles and the creasing and everything. But my God, the guy has got shoulders like a linebacker.
They have reduced the shoulders a little bit, if you've noticed.
He's got hands like Michael Phelps swimmer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I would say from the neck down, it's still nowhere near as good as what I think the previous one that they had at Gamescom in terms of the balance
is a lot better.
Was better in terms of the body.
Well,
the face is better. Yeah.
The thing is that I guarantee you that the body is the standard body you're going to have for all NPCs and even players. That's probably the standard player body. To be fair, that's probably what you look like when you're if you look around in third person. It looks good to me. Like the hands are big, but the hands are proportionate. I think the problem is his head is a little small for the rest of his body. That's probably.
You think? I think it's either the body's a little bit big and vice versa. I mean,
it could just be the way he's slouching and sat there makes it look.
No. But also the shoulders make sense. It's just he's wearing shoulder padded jacket.
Yeah, you can see they've got extra layers on them, so they're a bit wider that way as well.
Yeah, and the thing is that and a lot of people are like, that looks stupid. It's like they've made it look a little bit better than it used to, for sure. It's a little bit more rugged and looks a little bit less.
But at the same time, sorry, I really like the old jacket. And they did talk about that in the chat thing. Actually, they talked about. I think one of the guys was saying, I don't know if I've got the link in. Anyway, they were saying how the community kind of pretty much slammed Miles Eckhart in Reddit and how they
because everyone's a freaking fashion critic. Like, at the end of the day,
it's my business, man.
At the end of the day, like the reason why they did that was because it's a jacket you could purchase in game, and so they were trying to make the jackets not be unique, like the clothing not unique to NPCs. That all the clothing you see on all the NPCs are stuff you can buy, and that jacket is we've seen like in bug reports, or in bug they talked about, like, in one of the same ones they had about with showing Miles Eckhart, where everyone's like, honey, your shoulders are just too big for this season. I think
it's important that we give feedback though back in terms of if people naturally go, oh, that's a bit weird, but we'll kind of accept it, then they think that's acceptable. Whereas if we say, guys, look, I'm not being funny, but everything else, like, if we're constructive with it and say, look, the face looks fantastic, the setting looks great, the lights look fantastic. I mean, it looks really, really good, but then your body work is just off. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't feel like it's not as realistic as the rest of it.
I feel a bit like they spent a lot of time on the face. Like, a lot of work has gone on the sort of facial actions and animation and mocap and everything. Maybe less so than on the body.
Even the hand skin looks fantastic. Like, the hand skin looks amazing. It's just a bit big, but I mean, the hand skin looks wonderful, and like everything looks like the way he's holding the cup, and like I just watch him and the movements and stuff look good. It's the way the arm links into the shoulder for me is my biggest kind of. It feels just weird. Do you know what I mean? Like, Uncanny Valley would be the best way to describe it. It doesn't feel quite right. And I'm sure they're on it. I'm sure they're improving it. But if they're not, I'm telling them It's not great.
I'm telling them, I'm gonna go there and tell you.
One of
Carry on.
Madness's many things.
Many. Well,
Should make a
The
show
pilot
on
jacket
that.
was good. The pilot jacket was great.
I still preferred the old jacket. I would like them to have done just again. It's a bit like the Gladius. You don't they keep changing things that don't just improve what's already there rather than changing it to something different. They would have saved themselves. They would like everyone kind of enjoyed Miles Out Kart. Nobody said Miles Out Kart like clothing looked terrible, did they? I mean, did anybody say that Miles Out Kart was terrible? So why did they punish themselves? Somebody was like, "Hey guys, I got a great idea. We're going to put on Newman in a new costume that everybody's never seen before and risk them." You know, it's like
I get it. It has a lot to do with what they're trying to do is make sure that every single character in the game has player clothing that the player can buy, and I think the players can purchase that jacket. And you know, for some people, it's like, oh, that looks terrible for Miles Eckhart, but it's a jacket they had that fit the motif of what they're going for, and the jacket itself has improved since the last time we've seen it. It's it's just clipping through the table, but that's the reason why they did it.
Do you think we should be able to buy Miles his jacket though? Seriously?
Yeah, why not?
Do you think we should be able to have his jacket?
Yeah,
why
not?
Yeah.
He's fashion conscious. It's not unique to him. It's not got his name tag on it or anything. So,
I think it should. I think he should be. Isn't he like? Okay, I don't know the backstory of Miles, so I'll have to dig into it. I'll come back to you guys later.
So Miles, like, I don't expect everyone to have a custom tailored jacket from Gucci or Versace, like running around, and be like, oh, I have the only jacket in existence that looks this cool, like, or even this bad. At the end of the day, every person, for immersion reasons, it makes sense that every person in the game will have a piece of clothing on that has been manufactured that so you could probably find if you looked around for it. And Miles Eckhart, at the end of the day, his whole story is that he is a leader of a very powerful mercenary organization that exists on the edge of space, like on the edge of controlled space. And he does some things that are legal, some things that are not so legal, but he's a very powerful man in the area. And so it serves him best to look like everybody else, not necessarily to stand out, because his job is to do things that are sometimes not so legal. So if he looks like flashy with a brand new suit, he doesn't want to stand out. The whole point is he's blending in. You're going in and having a sort of conversation with someone that doesn't want to be seen as such. The way he sort of beckons you over, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I got like like he's kind of this cool guy that's maybe there could be a story behind his apparel. There could be some kind of clever something that's a bit more unique to him that we can't copy. I just thinking like
I don't think he's a top tier.
I don't see. You don't think he's a top.
Basically.
I just thought they would be. I thought maybe there was going to be like a cool kind of backstory and maybe I don't know. I'm thinking of like other like films like like Han Solo, for example. You don't really see
anybody else
wearing the black vest and white kind of thing walking around in the background. It kind of diminishes his aura. You know what I mean? I hear what you're saying in terms of like
I think you're
this
worrying
is the jacket.
Much. You're worrying far too much. Okay, I think we'll move on. Look, come on, you've gone too much on this. It's just a jacket, right? It's still in construction, so
he just wants to tell his own goddamn jacket.
Special he is. We don't know yet. I mean, and don't forget, he's going to go through lots of iterations anyway. So
I just saying, I think Brim's kind of basically set it up. Like what I'm trying to say is basically, if it ain't broke, why did they fix?
Well, they may have bad reasons. We don't know.
Honestly, I think the biggest reasons is that the actual clothing that they had him on was a custom-made skin rather than actual pieces of clothing. And
custom.
But the thing is that a custom skin is not the same as clothing, and it may be that the clothing that they were looking at, Chris could have looked at it and said, that looks like garbage. I don't want to have that as a piece of clothing. So
we change it to leather shoulder pads. Yeah, it was a good choice.
Yeah.
Some people like that. Just because it's not your fashion doesn't mean it's not somebody else's. Someone might be looking at that going,
hang on. My justification on this before this is the last thing I want to say is nobody commented on it before. Reddit exploded the minute they changed it.
That's not the point. To
be fair though, Reddit explodes every time something slightly different changes.
If they didn't like it, if they didn't like
So
it to start
Madness
with,
has been on
would have
Reddit
said.
too long, hasn't he? He's
They
turned
would have
into a Reddit person.
I've been reading too much. I have become the Reddit person. No,
Liz,
look.
stick with your guns. Move on.
Right, so
move
the
on.
other thing I thought was quite interesting with Miles was the options you've got, like when you shut up.
Looks good.
Shut up.
He looks good.
When you're talking to him, you basically got different options, a bit similar to like Mass Effect, so you can kind of scroll through what he's, your options, reactions that you want to do from what he's saying, which look quite good.
That's
so rather than going into Moby Glass or anything else to accept the mission, I don't know if that was shown before, but
Am I allowed to say something else?
no.
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 You're on quiet mode for a moment.
I understand completely that point though, and it comes down to not just the Miles, but it comes down to lots of different things. Is that NPCs should have a look that is unique to their own, and I'm just thinking of this in terms of like a community thing.
I'm
like
going back on it.
So no, in terms of like
joking.
in terms of like cosplay and stuff like that. Like that's NPCs stand out specifically.
Yeah.
Like it's not just Miles. We also have the other character who's being modeled after what's his name? After Ortwin. So
I'm trying to think which one you're on about now, but.
And I mean, they put all this effort into making them unique, and like the dialogue options are insane for Miles, I assume, and they've been talking about how exhaustive the dialogue options are going to be for Miles for all of their NPCs and how crazy they crafted them. After taking all that time to craft all of these NPCs, they need to make them so that people recognize them at a glance, and so making them stand out for sure is important. Is probably an important thing. So I understand the whole idea of this NPC needs to look good. I don't like the way he looks, but at the same time, fuck Reddit. Fuck Reddit.
Have I been vindicated here?
Fuck Reddit.
Thank you.
Fuck that stupid argument. It's just a fucking shoulder pad.
It's just
Don't want to buy the game.
Shut the fuck up.
Now I'm not being vindicated.
So, having said all that, I'm going to take it back and say screw you all. But no,
Fuck Reddit.
Astro.
less on the fact of the
hosting.
armor. I do agree in the fact that yes, you kind of you don't want to go and speak to every single random NPC to see if they've got a quest. There needs to be an element that you look at and think, oh, he looks different, or he looks special, or she looks different.
Yeah.
So that you'll then go over to engage, because you will get tiresome when there's like 50 people in a bar and you go and talk to. Have you got a quest? Are you going to talk to me?
Yeah.
You look like that guy. Are you going to talk to me? So yeah, there does need to be a differentiation. But I think at the moment we've got like 2 NPCs in the game. It's probably not going to make quite so much difference.
This clip you're showing now, I'm hoping this is not one it's going to be, because there's so much clipping going on, and yeah,
she's getting that fake rag from the back of her pocket and a little rug.
And her thumb
so
goes
much-
through her hand.
Well, no, even Miles'
detail in there
jacket
either.
clipped. Half his body was clipping
He's
to
clipped through the table. Yeah. Do you know what I was going to say, actually? What I was going to say on that one. Did you notice he moved his hands to his arm, which is the same animation, I believe, from Gamescom, where he had some sort of thing going on his... So
He had a glass in his hand.
Yeah, so he had a glass in his right hand, and then he moved his hand over when he was doing the missions to kind of indicate.
Moby glass.
I guess that's going to be his Moby. I'm guessing the animation's not finished. He'll maybe bring up a Moby glass, or it's just Armour. But it felt weird, like he was moving his hand on his arm, where we all know we're going to have like kind of the Pip-Boy kind of thing.
Yeah,
So I'm guessing everyone's going to have Pip-Boys on.
Because he had it before, didn't he? But I think that clip was more showing what they were trying to say is they've got the animation of them interacting with the objects on the table.
Yeah.
So there's a cup now, oh, I can pick it up, and it's not because they've forced the animation. It's not going through a cycle as such. It's that it recognises there's a cup there and picks it up, I think.
Yeah, like this woman picks up. She does what we all do when we're lazy.
Rag from your back pocket.
We just
Sweep
wipe it. Yeah, we just go fuck this shit. We're just going to sweep it with our hands. The crumbs are going onto the floor, and we'll hoover it up later. That's
And
pretty
then
much
she has
what
a little
she's
bum squeeze.
But the question is, if you put a glass in front of her, is she going to just knock it on the floor, or will she
doing.
recognise
Will
it's
she
a
pick
glass?
it? Would she know or knock it over?
Well,
Her
that's the
hand's
thing.
gonna clip through it. Sorry.
That's the thing, is that we're dealing with a rough pass at this point. Like, I don't even know if they'll still have clipping in 3.0 and all that kind of stuff. It happens. It happens in AAA, like Fallout. It happens all the damn time where people clip through shit. And Mass Effect is notorious for that kind of stuff. It's It's how much polish you want to put on it before releasing it, and I think to a degree we'll see that polish with 3.0. But I don't think we'll see these people in 3.0. But this is obviously a first pass. Like she's wiping down the table with an invisible rag, and Miles is playing with his invisible MOBA glass. But those things need to exist in game for them to actually, function. Just getting the animations down is the hardest part. Yeah. Like raising the hand up a couple centimeters to make sure that they don't clip through the bar is the big one. So
yeah, or like the belly kind of clipping through the table.
Yeah. You don't know him. Maybe he just has this phase technology.
He's stealth, isn't he? That's what he's got. He's not really there. It's a hologram.
He's a hologram.
That's exactly.
Next.
That's why he's clicking through things. So the next thing was they just to do with they've been doing some more improvement on the cockpits. And they've also moved the effects that you have on the cockpits into the turrets, basically. So where you can pass out and things like that. And I think like the impact they've been working a lot on, how you sway side to side if you turn too fast and things like that. So I think that's going to iterate up to the cockpits as well, and pass out. When
and you can passing out.
So that's pretty cool.
Oh yes, I like the this actually. I watched it and I was like. Yeah, that's cool. That's right.
At least you know if your pilot's any good or not. That's all right.
I keep passing out. I mean, again, it's really, I thought that was impressive actually. That's an extra little thing to do. They didn't need to do it, but it's like, we're going to do this.
Some more good fighting play when you're going up a shit Connie and they've got people in the turrets. If you can make them do a hard turn, you've
because turrets are so overpowered at the moment. We need people passing out.
Yeah. Well, they need to make sure that they definitely need to look at all the turrets' visibility in terms of the view and what you can see. Because again, I'm going to go back to this. There seems to be this obsession with showing us animation of guns doing things, whereas the reality is if I was really building a turret or a machine that's going to aim at things and shoot at things, the last thing I want interfering with my field of view is anything. Anything. I just want clear visibility. Is clear. Yeah, shoulder pads. Is visibility. Do you know what I mean? I don't want nothing should interfere. It should be as clean as possible. Now I know they want to, add a little bit of kind of like artistic whatever, but honestly, like I've been in the Cutlass one and I've been in some of the other ones, and they have these huge mounts next to you where you've got no like peripheral vision is completely interrupted. You can't see anything. So literally you only have a few seconds when a ship moves in front of you to be able to go, there's my target. You have to kind of know and move the thing. I feel like they need to really look at all of their visibility, not just the helmet HUDs, because they had the same thing with the helmet HUDs where everyone was like, hang on a minute, we've got these gorgeous helmets, but we can't see shit. And so they've had to change the helmet so you can see better visibility. Yeah. They need to do the same for the turrets as well.
Don't you think that is balance as well, Madness?
Sorry, that was a bit of a rant,
Don't you think that is for balancing as well? So if you would have a clear view around that turret, you would be even more overpowered than you already are, basically. You know what I mean?
We'll see that.
But
my interpretation of that is that we want any reason to include players in turrets, because right now turrets are broken. Like they suck. No one uses them.
Yeah.
And if you had
people use them, only new players use them, and then they realize how shit they are, and then get out of them.
Just get in an Aurora, you'll be better in Aurora, kind of thing. But eventually, if they make it so that you have much better visibility in a turret, then suddenly it becomes, I can put a player in that turret, and that turret is going to be a much more effective tool than if it just sits there empty. I think that's probably a balance.
There's no point in them adding G-safe and everything else and making them pass out if the turret's shit in the first place. Because if you're making it worse for the person in it, they're really not going to use it.
That's where it comes back to everything. To be a better pilot, to be a better everything, you need to have better visibility. You need to have better, obviously, controls in terms of accuracy of targeting and being able to hit a target. All those combinations. If you can see something early, you can track it, you can hit it. Those are the kind of the three things for me. See it early, track it, and then they need to have the balance, like we talk about hitting. At the moment you can't. It's bouncing all over the place, and you can't target anything, and it's really bad.
The other thing though is that like with cockpits definitely need to have some sort of visibility debuff. Like, yeah, the MISC has shitty cockpits, and it's a joke so bad that they even make it in lore how shitty their visibility is in a cockpit in a MISC cockpit.
Well.
But MISC is not designed as a fighter ship. They don't make fighters, so it makes sense that they have small windows because most of their stuff is going to be done by like, hey, I've got my console here, which will pull up all the radar stuff around me.
Yeah.
You want to have
the turret should be though.
The
Right?
turret should be
fully
visible as fuck. Yeah. It should be almost a glass ball with guns on them, but that's aesthetically is the issue. And I think that just goes along the lines of that turrets need a complete overhaul in terms of gameplay mechanic. They need to sit down and like focus on just turrets. How do turrets work? How to make them fun? How to make them useful? All those sorts of things. How do you balance them when you NPCs and that kind of stuff?
It's definitely something we've got to wait and see. And
yeah, but I mean, they've also worked on.
Yeah.
With 2.6, they said they worked on balance for Arena Commander, and that shit was just like, like
in what way?
Yeah, balancing badly, So
we can live in hope is the best way we can do with turrets, I think, at the moment, because they're that bad.
Yeah, well, they think the Gladius cockpit redesign is a good thing, so let's hold on to that thought and just think on it, stew on that thought, because it's a disaster.
It's so much better, isn't it? Yeah.
Fucking disaster.
It makes me want to get a Gladius with the new look.
It's a fucking disaster. Let's take the fucking radar from the middle HUD and get rid of it. What the hell? Anyway, sorry, moving on. Next on the list, before I really trigger on that one, because I'm just still fuming over it.
You're already on it, man.
The best fucking cockpit, and again, this is my point. If it ain't broken, why the fuck do you change it?
Madness.
Sorry.
Woosah.
Anyway, moving on.
Okay, so that was pretty much the first half of ATV. No, but the rest of it, luckily, is quick. It's just the engine trials and particle.
I mentioned the engine trials.
And guess what? They moved the particles from the CPU to the GPU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that?
Go on, Bio. Go on, Bio.
Tell us about it.
Tell us about it.
I already said it, so what you need to do is look back on
watch back.
So what does this mean? What does it mean, Bio?
I think they were saying that it was overloading the CPU. It was making it go quite high when it didn't need to. So they managed to make it run better and look so much better as it runs on the GPU. But then there was also saying that the moment it shows the particle, and what you see back is not actually using any usage as well. That's how they've managed to do it now. So yeah, it runs a lot better and smoother now that it runs.
The game is overflowing the CPU if you pull your gun out at the moment. That's how badly optimized it is. You know what I mean? I hope that is a big thing for 3.0. It's what I said last week. The servers at the moment and the performance at the moment is so bad.
Well, this is sorry. Go Astro. You're far more important than I am. Carry on.
Go for it, Madness. Go for it. Go on the rant. I'll let you rant.
Don't let him rant again. He's already had two.
I'm gonna keep I'll keep it really short and sweet. The reality is that they are moving. They're moving servers around for the Evocati guys. They're moving resources around at the moment. We are going to experience a bit of shit. If you've been on any of the previous patches, you will know very quickly that this shit happens when you have major patches coming. Performance does seem to take a bit of a dive. So for me, optimization as well is something you're going to do later on. Why would they optimize now? They've got so much more shit that needs to come into the game. They'll do it a little bit at a time. They're going to have to stress test all this shit's going on. So I want them to, but the truth is they have to do it at their pace. So it's on them.
I agree with you.
Right. So yeah.
Sorry, no, Paul. Astro, what was your view?
So the answer is that basically they're going to have to there's going to be some optimization they had to do, they just had to do for lighting and just shit to make the game even work. They had to do some optimization passes to make things lighter on terms of the load. That's the kind of optimization you should expect going forward. Is stuff that makes it so that the game can function that they need to optimize right away. Other than that, there is literally nothing else that they need to really focus on. So as a result, what we're going to do is we're going to get some. Sorry, it's my wife pulling stuff out.
I have the same thing.
My
wife's usually drawing a knife.
We have amazing acoustics in our new place, so it's like I can hear from like down the stairs in like around the corner sort of thing. When before I could barely hear anything.
She's like, it's my house. I pay half the motherfucking rent, motherfucker. I
Yeah,
do what I want.
Exactly.
She's probably chuckling him in the
way,
chair as well.
She's like, you on about that motherfucking Star Citizen again? My God, you go on about that shit all the time.
You're not too wrong there. She's at the she's if she comes up here right now, she'll be like, "Are you on another fucking podcast? How many fucking Star Citizen podcasts are there? How many? A few. God, Jesus, you know?
Jesus Christ! You talk about the same shit every fucking day."
But with the optimizations, it's going to be hard-coded optimization stuff that needed to be changing just because the game's going to happen. I would not expect any sort of optimization to happen. In fact, I expect the performance to be as good as we currently have it or worse, because the stuff that's going to really improve performance isn't going to be coming out for another 4 months. Yeah, 4 to 6 months.
They've said for quite a lot, most games, the optimization is what comes last. But as you were saying there's certain things that you need to do this optimization, otherwise it's just not even going to be. You can't even play it. So we're getting this optimization, which is great, but it's not the final thing. It's just trying to help it so that it's actually playable.
I hope the things like Delta Patcher will enable more like little bits of optimization.
I don't think they will, because like I said, that they don't optimize unless it's something they need to optimize because the game's unplayable.
For me, this would be for bringing in increasing like player numbers would be my way of looking at it. You know, like we've now increased. We've now got we've got this optimization that will enable us to go from 24 players to 50 players. You know what I mean? And that kind of stress test, that kind of thing. You know, rather than because at the end of the day, as the map gets bigger, they really do need to increase the player count in the instances.
Definitely. Yeah.
Because it will get very empty.
Because it'll look very scarce when empty. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It'll be very boring.
Did they say they were going to increase it for 3.0?
No. Player size? No.
No. Yeah, it's 24. So we're going to get 3 new moons. We're going to get a lot of landing. We're going to Levski, but we're going to have 24 players.
Where is everybody?
Well, this is the thing. They did say how Chris Roberts did say, like, you know, a lot of the fights and stuff in the game will end up becoming NPC based, but we've already discussed they're not going to have NPCs in the game, so it's going to be very quiet. So
they're going to have NPC fights, but I don't think we'll see things like probably won't even see NPC FPS battles for till 3.1 or 3.2. Yeah. So it'll be like what we have now, where you certain places and you go on certain missions, NPCs will spawn and you have to fight them. But other than that, it's going to be pretty fucking empty for 3.0.
I think what they're hoping is that obviously if you're trading or if you're going missions, you're going to be going to hubs. And I think that's what they're kind of relying on, it not being so empty, is because you'll be going to hubs and you'll be bumping into people doing that. I mean, obviously that's not going to count for people that just explore on moons and stuff, but if you're going to do missions, you should meet that way, I think.
And now, in terms of the, are we into the big discussion about engine trails?
I think we're on to that now. Yeah,
we are. Here we go. This is good. Okay. Engine trails. Now, can I just say something before we go on to engine trails?
Go on.
Look at that nebula. How beautiful that looks.
Space is looking sexy now.
Can I also?
Look good.
I have to. I'm just going to, sorry, and this is going to sound a little bit negative, but have you noticed how we always seem to have every action shot or everything done in front of that beautiful nebula? And then when the camera pans to the left, it looks a bit empty again. Do we think, no, but do we think that they're going to have other things?
It doesn't look empty. There's a moon in there to the left, you know?
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, there's this one kind of like massive nebula going across, and then I'm kind of a bit.
Well, no, you can't just have tons and tons of nebulas everywhere.
Yeah, like, what do you want from this game, Magnus?
It's not Blackpool
made
White
for
show,
you.
is it? You know what are you expecting?
I'm not. Look, it's fantastic. It's fabulous. Yeah. But again, I know fully well, having worked in like my industries, creative industries, they take cameras and they put them over the things that are the most interesting to get you all excited. But then when you move the camera away, there's nothing else. You know, it's the same thing. Like when we advertise things for like something for shoes, there'll be a dude sat next to a computer going, "Look at me drawing this really advanced technology on this 3D piece of software that we rarely use. It looks amazing for you guys, but in fact, we rarely use it." And that's my thing. Is it looks fabulous, but then in reality, how much of my time is going to be flying in front of that nebula versus over to the left? That's all I'm just, you know,
as a good counterpoint to that, which is actually you make a good point, is that if you make sexy, stunning, amazing things commonplace, it becomes boring. Okay. So if you have those like that nebula, if you can go to that nebula and you're in the nebula, that's going to be an amazing experience, and that will pop you out of the normalcy. And a lot of this game is going to be slow, dull normalcy for most of the time. And in fact, I think there's a couple of great articles out there written by MMO designers who talk about how what defines an MMO is not the pace of terms of combat or what you can do. What defines it is the quiet moments between what you can do, the moments where you have a chance to meet other people and to do stupid shit, like in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, where everyone makes the worm on the ground and everyone starts bouncing around and someone starts playing music. Those are the kind of moments that will define a game in terms of a player base and personality and all those sorts of things. And Chris Roberts has specifically designed Star Citizen to be a slow-paced, quiet game with lots of quiet moments, so that players can define and fill that quiet with what they want, what they think would be interesting. Sometimes it's going to be some dumbass running around, started butt naked, but sometimes it's going to be someone doing an RP. Like even in in Armour today, there are people who will do tours for new players. Yeah. Let's say, we'll get new players and come to my server, and I'll show you around Armour and tell you about all the different parts of it and that kind of stuff. And you'll see this like a little tour group that walks around with one guy leading it across the way. And that's something that's completely player driven, that players created as a way to like say, hey, let's help players out a little bit. It's not even RP. It's more than just people like, hey, this is what this place is. This is where you'll go to get your ships and that kind of stuff like that. It was kind of a nice little filler. So
you say, Paul, people want to make their own story. You know, people want to make their own stories, and you need a bit of quiet space to make those own stories. You know, if it's constantly people running around. It's an example from earlier. If everyone would wear Miles Eckhart's jacket, I could see trolls standing in that bar with 60 of them wearing that same jacket, and you're trying to find Mr. Eckhart. You know what I mean? Yeah. It makes some great experiences.
So leather shoulder pads.
I'm just going to say, just because of chat and stuff on some of the things that they're saying about the nebula cannot be viewed in real life, thousands of miles away, and looks like normal space. Guys, I am like, that's awesome, and thank you so much for informing me, because I've said this before in chat and stuff. Is I often ask some questions that do come across sometimes as really dumb or really kind of like, oh my god, how the fuck can this guy be saying this shit? No. Because the reality is there's a lot of people out there who maybe think simple pop-up language like me, and you know, it's great when you guys educate myself, especially with these answers, because then I learn. At the end of the day, I've never developed a game, and this is really great that the community comes back and informs me. I learn, and we all learn, and you know what I mean. I ask those really fucking stupid questions sometimes, but I do.
He's asking them for all you lot out there.
For all you simpletons like me, I am on your side. All 10% of you, the 90% of really intelligent people. I'm sorry, I'm not one of them, but I genuinely, I love the fact that I learned, like literally there, I learned some really important information. So
I mean,
and we're talking about the quiet times. Obviously, this game is predominantly a quiet-based game, clearly, based on what Astro was saying. And then the exciting moments are going to be the opposite way around to another game where it'll be all exciting and then the quiet moments. So that's interesting. I always kind of, I guess because I play more the combat side of the game, so for me it's always loud, it's always brash, it's always intense, where I'm always fighting somebody, and when it goes quiet, I'm sat there twiddling my thumbs going, oh my god, I'm bored. What do I do? Heavy breathing.
Well, that's why hopefully if you played like Hellion or something, you'll get that sort of element where there'll be stuff to do inside your ship in the predominantly sort of quieter times. But it's kind of like I think, as Paul said, it's very much like PUBG, and that people watching you sometimes going, well, what the hell's this game about? You're just running around doing nothing for ages. But that builds up the drama that when you do come across somebody, it like the battle intensifies because it's your heart starts beating and it's like, oh shit, someone's trying to kill me, and it really heightens that because you've been so used to like running around, and then you also get lax as well. You run around and think, oh, that's alright, we'll loot here and I won't check round the corner, and then the next thing you know, you get shot in the head and it's like, I knew I should have checked that corner.
Yeah, it's about building up drama and building up the moments. Like, and Hellion is a sort of a good example in the same realm because it's pretty much boring empty space. Eventually, what will happen is they hope to add in combat ships. So eventually, you might get stopped out of warp by a pirate ship that will disable your ship and try to board you. It may happen.
So here's the thing then. So would you say that this game is not for the child, my generation, or just the person that is into instant gratification? This is potentially a re-education of that type of gamer.
Yes, I would say it's much more of a Star Wars Galaxies experience than it is a SWTOR. Or a Battlefront. This is not a Battlefront game. Is there like lots of action in intense moments? Yeah, there'll probably be missions where you're doing nothing but standing behind walls for 30 minutes, firing down hallways, trying to desperately survive and crawl your way out of a bad situation. But that will be maybe 30 minutes to an hour of a 4-hour game session, where the other 4 hours is just getting your shit ready, getting go. It's more Arma in the sense that there's a lot more getting ready to go and going than there is actually combat. And the combat is going to be the short, intense portions, which you will remember. But like in PUBG, most of the time in PUBG, you're running around looting. You don't do any combat. And then you maybe of a 30-minute game session or 30-minute to an hour game session in PUBG, you may get, if you get a chicken dinner, you may have 15 minutes of combat in that entire session, if you're lucky, Yeah. Because most engagements are handled in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's mostly running around gathering shit somebody else can steal. Yeah.
Yeah.
just like this game. Or at least it will be in 3.0 for sure.
Yeah, just watch your backs. I'm coming for it.
Coming to steal. Don't worry, you can always hire me and I'll kill him. I've already killed him 5 times. It's fine.
It's got a record.
5-0, isn't it?
All I know is
got this scratch in his
when
desk.
it comes out, you're gonna have to fly in that beautiful Gladius cockpit. Up yours.
Do you know what, dude? Don't worry.
Nice.
Don't worry, because I'm just going to get an M50 and I can kill things in an M50. So that'll even be more embarrassing when you die in an M50. Challenge? It's on, baby. Come on,
so let's go back to engine trails.
Talk about the actual engine trails.
Yeah, we didn't actually get to engine trails because Matt decided to have a little comment in front.
You spoke about engine trails.
Can I talk a little bit about the engine trails?
THEASTROPUB.
Yes.
Okay. This is one of the situations in which Reddit decided to have a little baby toss, and tiny one about how bad this idea was and how it breaks my immersion and how it's the worst thing ever and that it's ending the game and how everyone wants refunds because of engine trails and wah let me throw my toys across the room because I'm angry. And they've explained it pretty well, and I'm going to explain this again. The first thing I want to say though is it's been in the game. Engine trails have been in the game for a long time. They took them out, I think, briefly recently, but in the past they've been in the game before. And the only reason why they took them out was because they were resource intensive and there's lots of other things, and so they took them out as a result. But there's been engine trails pretty much in every single Chris Roberts game. There's engine trails in Eve. There's engine trails in Elite. There are engine trails in every space sim you can imagine. Engine trails are a standard practice. They are there mostly for gameplay purposes. So you can see a ship that's, a couple 100 meters away. Mm-hmm. You're not going to see those trails any longer than that. And even in this case, you can barely see the trails in the distance as when you're looking at them. They're there for gameplay purposes. If they don't meet your aesthetics, you won't even notice them really. In the long term,
there was a screenshot somewhere on the internet, and someone had put the trials from one other game, and then the trials in Star Citizen. And what they've put here, and you can see, like you just said, is that they're quite subtle. They're nowhere near as blinding as they were. I don't remember what the other game was, but it was like they were like thick lines showing you where they were going. Whereas these are definitely, they're not there for long, and they're much more subtle. And I don't know whether like your signature changes, whether you'll be able to affect that as well on the ships. But
you won't even see them anymore at some point, you won't even see them anymore, I think. You won't even notice they're there, other than for gameplay, as Astro says, gameplay usages, people that want to track people down, players like Bio, where they want to chase people down for ships, and I think you need such a thing, You need such a thing to keep that element of gameplay interesting.
And I think the main thing that Reddit's missing is that Chris Roberts likes it. And guess what? He's building his game, which he said right from the start. I'm building my game. And you could tell in the ATV when he's waving his hands all over the place, he loved those engine trials.
We dumbasses give him 150 million to build.
Is it realistic? No. Does it matter? No.
They've already reduced the speed of the spaceships to the point where they're not realistic.
No.
They're not realistic.
Spaceships run at thousands of meters per second on average. Like I think to orbit the Earth, you need something like 4,000, 5,000 meters per second. You'd be going 4,000, 5,000 meters per second just to orbit the Earth, because all that speed is, and all that orbits is just you have to fall. You have to go fast enough that while you're falling, you just don't fall. You're moving faster than you are actually being pulled down by gravity. That's all it is. So, and that's not being rendered in Star Citizen at all. That's not realistic at all in Star Citizen. You're not going to see that shit at all. Like, there's not even orbits in Star Citizen, really. It's just like fly to a station, park at a station, or go down straight to a planet. Like, I'm sure you could go probably straight down into a planet, and you'll have the same effects and same situations as if you did an actual like gradual entry. So,
I mean, my answer to this question, these type of things is like, it's a fucking computer game.
Exactly.
That's it. It's a computer game.
Simple as that. It's not meant to be realistic. People that keep thinking it is, they need to maybe look at a different game, like Flight Simulator.
Yeah, exactly. Go get Flight Simulator. Spend 4 hours learning how to switch on the engine and take off. It's fine. It's not. It's a computer game. Engine trails look cool. I like them. I actually, do you know what I really like about them as well is that they've got to be able to show you the movement of a spaceship. So it's like an extra learning. So you can see.
You can draw pretty pictures in space.
You'll be able to see a maneuver and go. So he's gone this way, rolled this, and turned this to create that kind of like trail, or he's turning in this direction. I can see where he's going.
They're not huge, are they? I mean, they're very minor. So I don't. People just mine for sake of it.
I'll make some really nice screenshots for me, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, again, it's fine. I think that there's a balance between obviously it's a game, and then obviously it's a game. I mean, the restock stuff that you get in Arena Commander, that definitely kind of arcadey style of pickups does not need to be in game. Please do not implement that in the PU. Please don't ever implement that in the game.
Please take it away from Arena Commander
Arena
or put
Commander,
it in its own little subsection. It's not a bad idea. It's just a bad idea to force it. Yeah, it's a to force it.
It's because they've got no other ideas in terms of being able to keep people alive and fighting. But it doesn't really prepare people for when they go into the PU. It's like it was before in 2.5. It was a far better. It was a much better preparation for the PU. Yeah. Whereas now it's just you're left kind of they're training in a completely artificial environment, which isn't, I don't think, a good thing. Sorry, it's just not good. It's not a good environment.
But I think, like as Maverick said as well, adding these trials will also make it interesting, and it could easily add extra game feature to like if you're having a stealth ship or lowering your emissions, that could affect your trials, or even maybe be able to cut them out some way.
So, drift.
Yeah, which adds another tactic, adds more stealth, and adds more gameplay.
Go in decoupled mode, turn your engines off, and suddenly you don't have any trails.
It also gives you game away what you're doing. So potentially someone watching you could go, "Oh, he's gone. He's reduced his power. He's decoupled. He's reduced his. He's now vulnerable to this type of missile. Boom, fire. You know what I mean? It's that whole. That's what I love about this game. I want it to remain skill based. I want it to remain a learning curve. I want people to have to go onto things like YouTube and Reddit and Spectrum and talk to the people who are,
And
well,
just
yeah,
think on their feet as
go
well.
onto the the videos, the YouTube videos, the ones that Astro's doing, or Nubify, or myself, or whoever, you know, who's doing it and playing it day in, day out, and ask us questions and learn. And I want that skill-based game, because it's going to be there. This is the best game, potentially the best science fiction space simulation game of all time.
Mm-hmm. And that's the idea. I mean, and the key though is that make sure that you understand that there's a difference between what you want and what works. Like Chris Roberts is making a game. At the end of the day, he's not going to make DCS in space. Don't ask for DCS in space because you're not going to get it. There are other games that are like that, but if that's not your game, that's not your game. Yeah, play another game. There are other games out there. However, I think this game is going to walk that line between mass appeal and like a larger mass audience appeal and a more niche or market of the space sim community. I think it has to walk that line. So.
It's just like a hyped up version of his older games. So if you've played his older games, you know his style, the things that he likes and wants, and it's gonna, you know, it's just gonna enhance on those. Basically.
Oh yeah, we gave him 150 million to do that.
Who's
to blame?
Yeah, he will enhance on that, but then you got to remember he's got some of the old team, and he's got a whole lot of new people. He's got a whole new creative situation. The game that he's building is being built in a way that no other game has ever been built, in the sense that we see everything week by week, day by day. We see and have a voice and opinion on everything that they're doing, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. We have that. We can say to them, the Gladius cockpit sucks ass.
It's beautiful.
And they hear it. Whether they, we can make them hear it because we have medias for them to hear it. We can say, Miles Eckhart's journey. Now, whether they choose to listen to them and they go, well, fuck you, citizens, it's a load of bullshit, I want it this way, that's on him. That's fine. And he's completely within his rights. We'll all go say to him, yeah, that's fine. You're right. It's a terrible idea, but that's fine. We'll accept it. But we'll
complain about it. But
exactly. We'll complain about it. But at the end of the day, we will ultimately go, okay, fine. And then we might go, you were right. You were right, Chris. Actually, that was probably the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's totally cool.
All these changes, madness, there's probably reasons for it as well. For everything is a reason,
Yeah.
If
you don't get the full picture.
If he didn't want the pilot jacket in the first place, he wouldn't have put it on there.
My God,
but then they find out that it doesn't work, so they need to change it. Same with the Gladius cockpit. Same with everything. There might be a reason why they had to change. There will be a reason why they had to change it.
Well, most ships got changed in 2.0 because of item 2.0, and it could be linked to that. Yeah. It may not be. We don't know until we get more information on there, and they may even go through and explain why they've done some changes on the ships, and that you just don't know.
Who knows?
Anyway, that's pretty much everything. I think we've said enough on the engine trials, unless anyone else has got anything they want to add.
They look cool.
They look great.
Do look cool. I like them. Hopefully we can change the colour of them and things like that. We never know. But yeah,
I like them.
I like them.
The Nebula looks beautiful. The space looks beautiful. I think the people who are going to be filming for these wonderful videos that they do on YouTube and stuff are going to have a field day with 3.0.
Yeah.
They're going to go crazy with this shit. It's going to be so every week MVP will be another person doing an amazing video, screenshots and videos because it looks great. I know that I've spoken to many CIG guys who've whispered me and said to me on when I've been chatting and stuff, they've all been telling me they cannot wait for us to get hold. And I'm sure it's the same with all these other guys here. They can't wait for us to get hold of 3.0. I know the guys in every department are excited for it. We all are excited for it. We just want to play fucking 3.0. So hurry the fuck up.
I just want to be able to play a patch that...
Get it out! We want to play this shit.
I can't wait. I can't wait for 3.0 because it'll be a patch that we're not having to force us to feel like we have to play the game. It'll be that one patch that we can just continue going. Oh, was 3.1 come out? Oh, bloody hell, that was quick. I'm
going to say this. I will happily not do a podcast for the next 2 weeks if they can get 3.0 out next week.
Yes, we get them off.
No ATVs.
Get them off.
No ATVs.
Oh yeah, we'll do it. We just won't have Mandus on ranting.
They don't need ATVs.
Anyway,
never shoulder pad.
Come on. So we've got a few questions. Let's go through those. So the first question is from Ubernerd, and he wants to know, for everybody, is anyone going to do a non-stop stream circumventing a moon in a 3.0?
Yes,
I know. Going around the whole thing.
I know at least 4 people who are doing it.
What, non-stop stream?
Who plan on it? One of the
How many hours did they say it was going to take for the moon?
15 hours, wasn't it?
15 hours. So I expect someone to do a 24-hour live stream easily. You know?
Yeah, that's doable. I won't be.
Is that literally walking from what? Is that literally walking around the whole entire thing?
No, probably on a bike or
Yeah,
something.
on foot, it's going to be a long week.
Yeah.
With all the crashes, maybe.
I mean, I could just leave the stream running and not be there.
Nox.
And just have
I think they said it was about 15 hours on a Nox or something ridiculous.
I'll give it a go. Definitely, I think it'd be fun.
I'll be watching somebody else and dropping in to say hi and congratulate.
Yeah.
You can come watch me then, Madness.
No.
I will watch you. You have to do it permanently, so you are going to have to. I want to see the nappy that you got before and the nappy afterwards, because you're not allowed to leave your desk. You have to sit there all the time. I want to know that you.
Oh no,
the man nappy.
You can stop for little stop hits and go for a toilet break.
Overrated.
So the next question is from Mad Rambo, and he wants to know: did you all see the oxygen meter in the last ATV? Do we know any more on it? And it looks like it's set for release in 3.0.
Yes, oxygen's going to be in 3.0.
Yeah, they did say quite a lot. I don't know if it's the last ATV or the one before, but quite a lot about it in terms of balancing the oxygen in your suits, and there'll be other gases that can affect it and stuff. So, and there was a big section about running and how much oxygen you use up while you're running. We haven't been made clear what will happen if you need to refill your tank and how that's going to happen. So these people that if they're going to walk the moon and they run out of oxygen, how are they going to get more oxygen back? So that we don't know yet.
Yeah, they talked about all that stuff. Yeah. So
yeah,
it's like a hybrid car. You can stick your suit in somewhere in the middle of the moon. Sit down, wait till it's charged. And I don't want to say too much Hellion, but in Hellion you hang your suit on something. You put your stuff in that generates the oxygen. It recharges and you can go out again. Basically, it's obviously a bit harder if you're walking the moon because you're not going to be able to stop easily somewhere. But
they said that they did. I mean, you probably touched on it. They did say the environment will affect the amount of oxygen in your blood, though, right? So, yeah. They talked about obviously in certain planets and stuff have different
There's
oxygen
lots of
levels.
things that are going to affect it. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
And the next question is Mad Rambo, and he's just put, just to confirm, Binsenowig is my name on the list. Yes, Rambo, your name is on the list.
You broke out there, mate.
Rambo, you're on the list, mate. You will be on the show. Everybody, Mad Rambo will be on the show. We will have.
We'll make it happen. Don't worry.
We'll
He's inviting himself now.
It'll be the time that Madness will probably be quiet for the whole. Because he'll be like crying where Rambo will be just saying.
Comes on with his Ewins t-shirt. I'll hand mine over.
Oh, it's still a sore spot there.
So the next question, is she to me. I don't know how you say that name. I'm sorry. I haven't drunk enough to say that name.
Time.
She what?
She time, isn't it?
Yeah, that one. On Happy Hour, it was mentioned that the flight model is not concrete for 3.0. What qualms do you currently have with the flight model, or do you like it as it is? Did they say it's not concrete?
So who's that? Is that for everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I spoke about this last week. I think that the flight model needs small tweaks, but I think it's pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Yeah.
There needs to be something about like the boost mechanic works, but the boost mechanic needs to have a toggle switch. Like you hit a boost, you can hit a toggle boost and you'll go maximum boost, but then you're locked in and you can't move at all until you hit the button again. Because like not necessarily like the cruise speed style, but something. Fuck it, just bring back cruise speed at that point. Because
Astro, we'll speak off air, and I will have a chat with you about that.
Okay, only because like I know there's a lot of complaints about like.
There's a very cool little way to fix it.
No, I know how to do. I know you can do it kind of by decoupling right now. It works that way, but it's just that's my only small issue. It's a small issue with like
the fuel burns out very quickly.
Yeah,
when you're not decoupled.
I crash and die lots, so the flight mechanic makes no difference to me.
Yeah.
I still managed to crash and burn. It makes no difference.
I want to see what the flight mechanics is like as we start to expand the universe, because I think that's where the biggest changes. Because we had cruise control obviously before, getting from one place to another one. At the moment, obviously we're talking about fuel. If you decouple, obviously you can save fuel. You can put it yourself up to maximum speed and then just cruise to the location. But I mean, even going from Yella to Big Benny's, you know, that's when you go to the dark side of Yeller and then you kind of you jump there and then you jump back again. You see that look, there's the 2 dots. You're looking at like a 2-minute kind of like cruise to the state to Big Benny's kind of area. I'm off maybe even 5 minutes depending on where you jump to. I'm interested as we start to get these bigger, as the universe expands, how the flight mechanics will adapt to make it still interesting. You know, we talked about 15 minutes potentially. You know, we have to have entertainment. You know, if you're on a single seater ship, it's going to be pretty damn boring, or you won't actually be able to fly these single ships, you know, like a Gladius, for example, to these locations, because it's just the distance is too great. The quantum fuel, whatever, won't make you there. So you will have to have a different type of ship to be able to do that.
Which means stages when you in restock.
Yeah, exactly. Or you're going to have a bigger traveling, you know, a Connie or whatever, where then you will have entertainment to potentially entain you.
I think
for your
eventually
15
we'll get
minutes.
more stuff, especially with the item 2.0. So you might have to go and check your systems and things like that a little bit more. There will be more eventually. It's not going to be in straight away, obviously.
So that's
one thing about the flight mechanics. I would like to be able to lock on cruise control again. I hate it when I nudge the mouse and then it drops straight back out of it every second.
I do agree with you on that one as well. Like when I want to, like when I'm in chat and stuff and I'm like talking to people and then I move the mouse, so I want to go into a different window. Like literally, it just fucks up the whole screen. I can't lock.
And it drops speed from cruise massively fast. It's like, oh, come on.
I want to lock the ship in so that I don't have to do, like, if I could just press one button, it like locked. That's it. It's, you know, like auto pilot or whatever, you know, like that. It's set to autopilot and I don't have to touch it. Maybe that'll come in. Maybe.
Yeah, hopefully. Okay, so next question was Rambo again. He said, shouldn't they wait and hold on to 3.0 until optimization is in? All the new bros won't want to play it and the old bros will hate it even more.
So they have what?
Optimization in.
No. All right, so this way, 3.0 is a huge step forward. It's not going to be for everyone. I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed with the with how 3.0 is versus what they thought it was going to be last year, because it's going to be much stripped down in comparison. Just those are the facts of life. But it's for people like us who've been playing the game for years. This is a huge patch for us because it's actually adding in some base features where we can start saying, okay, this is how the game is going to work. This is how the game's going to play in the long term. For a new player coming in, this is probably a good idea if you've never seen the game before, just to see how the game is, with the understanding that this game is an alpha, shit changes.
Yeah. It's more a case the person playing it needs to realise what alpha actually means, rather than we balance it so that you think this game's cool and I'm going to buy it and back it. Because
you're not going to get.
You should know by now that an alpha means it's broken. It doesn't always work. It's not always great.
Well, they don't know
that. Tough. Well, no, people don't, but that's kind of their problem, really. So,
but I think that the type of person that plays Star Citizen, and that we talked about a slower gameplay and stuff, it breeds more of a mature gamer. So I think that those are the type of players that have gone away. If they don't like the game at the moment, they've gone away and they've gone, do you know what? I'll come back to this in 3.0. I'll come back to this in 1.3.1. I'll come back to this.
Sometimes I think people need to just go, do you know what? This isn't how I want to play it at the moment, and go, instead of just forcing themselves to keep playing. I think it's healthy to actually go, you know what? Let's leave the game for a bit. Come back later.
And if by the time you get to 4.0, if the game's not what you want, you're still in the early development, you can just file, you know, cash your chips in and go, do you know what? This isn't the game I wanted. I'll have my money back, please.
We knew what we got into anyway. You know, we knew that, and especially the people that loaded more money into it. You know, you're gonna get yourself into an alpha game that can change every damn day. You know, I knew it.
Yes, totally. But they have changed a few promises.
Sorry, guys. I have some issues with my camera suddenly.
Oh no!
Oh no!
I mean,
you're stuck in a handsome pose right there.
Nah, I've got back to a green screen though. Yeah, because my XSplit crashed. So
no, it's okay. Don't worry. I can still see your
Still
handsome
look good,
face on
Paul.
my screen. You're looking good, Paul.
Handsome as always.
Still looking good. Yeah, no, where were we, guys? Answering that question. Yes, optimization.
Fuck it.
Wait and see.
So, next
Wait
question
for it,
again
yeah.
from Rambo is: do you think ship
Rambo, we're
combat
going to
should be
charge taxes
closer
on questions.
We will-
so we
Yeah,
can see
anyone
the
else?
ship, or as a streamer, the viewers
Rambo's a
can see,
chat.
or possibly a view on the HUD, a close-up of the ship moving, etc. Could be a good addition. I think you can't really have it much closer because you've got ships flying at speed. It's just, I can't see how you can have a closer than it is now. I mean, they've tried to slow it down so that you can kind of look at the ships that you're shooting at. It's going to change a lot when you come to bigger ships as well. You start shooting at the capital ships or bigger ones, you're going to obviously see them and probably fly past them a lot closer. I mean, if I fly any closer to ships, they will be just as smashed as I still do. But yeah, I don't know.
DK, this is something I also need to like squash real quickly. There's a lot of optimization coming with 3.0. There's also a lot of shit coming with 3.0. So optimization and new shit tends to cancel each other out. So I wouldn't expect people are saying, "Oh, I can't wait to get a solid 60 FPS in PU." I can't either, but it's not going to happen next patch. It's probably not going to happen until at the very earliest 3.2. It may be worse. Because of how the things are, because they don't have all of the new netcode stuff that's supposed to increase performance. Things like being able to say, "Hey, that ship that's flying around Yella right now, I don't give a fuck about that ship. I give a fuck about what's going around here at Security Point Korea." That doesn't exist. It won't exist until 3.1 or 3.2 or even later. That whole like netcode side of things isn't there yet. So that's the reason why they're probably going to have less players. They're still going to have 24 players, probably maximum. And it's also the reason why optimization takes a hit now, is because literally everything has to update. A ship blows up on the other side of Crusader and you're on an ICC mission, guess what? Your ship has to register that. So that's why you have the whole game lag when like a new Caterpillar pops in. The whole game lags for the whole server because everyone has to get that update. Once that is in, we'll start seeing better optimizations and they'll probably increase the player count. But until that happens, which is not going to be for a while, you're going to have lags. It's going to happen. And you know what? There's no point in waiting to release something until everything is perfect. Then why even have an alpha? Wait till the game's released. If you're that person who's like, "I can't handle this," or like, I want a game to be 60 FPS at launch, then go wait until the game's released. This game is not, there's plenty of other games out there right now.
Just watch for now.
I mean, they have said they've been optimizing the network code. I mean, they're always working on it. So they want to make it bigger and better. So
They want to add more shit in.
exactly.
You know what I mean? So optimize it every time.
Yeah. So next question was from Maverick. He says, "How do you think the Nox will affect fast-paced ground assaults? Useless or not?"
Depends how strong the Nox is and how easy.
I mean, I don't know how much ground assaults. I mean, like we've not got bases to attack and stuff. I don't know how much, apart from just messing around, shooting each other on the bikes.
I think the Nox will be that quick, though. It's going to be hard to kind of control in that kind of very close combat kind of quarters. As in, if he's thinking as in you're going to just mow down people, as in you go around them and you circle around them and shoot them down. I don't think you're going to be able to do that with a Nox, because I think it's just going to be so that powerful that you're not going to be able to control it in that way. But maybe if you're fighting another Nox or another like a ground vehicle, then yes, that would be easier because it can keep up with them. Maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the Nox will be used for combat as such, really.
It's a fighter. It's a fighter and a racer.
Yeah,
I don't think it's not going to be used as a combat. It's mostly going to be used for ground transportation.
I mean, they say it's better
it's a
combat,
race.
but then the Dragonfly's got two
racer.
seats, so you can have two
It's a
people
race.
shooting from it. Or
It's
one
a
person
racer.
shooting from it.
like the M50 is. I mean, there will be people who are amazing pilots or amazing flyers on the ground who will be able to turn it into something more than what it is. But for the average Joe, it'll just be a racer to get you from A to B fast.
Cool. Next question is from Madness. He wants to know, what colour trowel would you have?
Orange.
Orange.
This is a valuable question right here.
Yeah.
I don't like that shit.
I don't think it will let you
purple,
choose.
Purple and green would be mine.
Yeah. This is
We're
Astro? what color trail would you have on your
Rainbow.
unicorns
Rainbow.
as well?
Yeah, the rainbow with sparkles, so I can be 9cat everywhere I go. You know, I can just blast that out the speakers.
Nice.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I hate that sort of shit. You have this in GTA as well, bro. But listen, this is something that I really feel for you. You have it in GTA where people have like the color tire smoke. Have you ever seen a fucking car with red fucking tire smoke?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unless they use freaking paint or something like that.
They put it in they deliberately for the guys that do the. You never been to like one of these tire burnout places?
No, man, I'm not interested in that shit.
Someone get me a link on YouTube. They do it. They put the tires have actually got it in the thread.
It's
a color so that the color creates a color smoke.
Listen, I'm burning fucking 300 pounds worth of fucking tires. I don't care what fucking color comes off it, you know.
these guys care about it.
It's a show.
It's a show, exactly.
Dude, seriously. But you're like these flight shows that you see above the canal or
the
something.
red arrow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
red arrows or something like that.
Well, look, boys,
I think
you
that's
can colour them.
Dude. It's all for those dudes. It's all for that MVP. It's all for that. Top
MVP
place on the
photo.
MVP on the Wii. That's what it's
So, last question from Manis. When do you think we're going to get alien races?
What?
When
do you think we're going to get alien races?
I reckon about when it gets to like patches 4.0 onwards. I reckon.
Probably after we get all the features. Once the features are in game and everything works and we have jumps, then we'll start seeing alien player, like not playable alien races.
You know.
Yeah. We won't even have women like the female model until it maybe 3.1.
Yeah.
You know,
females with long hair.
I thought they were going to put 3.0 women were going to be in.
Nope. Female locomotion is set for 3.1.
No, that's so disappointing.
Now the thing is that female locomotion was. They didn't say when female character models were going to be in. They just said female character locomotion was sometime in early July. That was a while ago. So female character model may make it into 3.0 because it's been so long since that. However, we don't know. Like we have seen a lot of progress. They've made a lot of progress on the female character models for like the armor, like the light armor.
And the face and the hair and the last couple. I mean, that we've seen the full body in terms of the walking, the animation. I mean, we've seen the last couple of ATVs. They keep dropping in, you know, a female figure
like
and everything.
Close. Look how close we are. Here's the
We
clothes
even have the
we're
female
working
bartender.
on. Here's the animation.
You know.
Yeah.
I think it might make it.
I hope they do. They should do.
I'd like it.
It's important for the game. It's
It's
important for the audience, you know.
I do think so. I think they should
considering how late it's going to release, I would say that I would say as well that if it's going to release sometime in early to mid August, why not?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're
even just one figure, even if it was just like what we've got now.
We can't just put one.
No.
Female in there.
We've all been playing with one clone man since like God knows when. So I don't think it would be a disaster if they had just one or two versions of a female figure.
They keep saying, we're not going to release it buggy, but you've got everything else buggy. Why not?
Yeah.
Come on. Okay, so that's all the questions. There was one thing I was going to ask, which was more about, I don't know, it's a bit random, but because of the item 2.0 and things we're going to get to use within the ships, I don't think they're going to be implemented straight away, but like the escape pods that we can use. Someone was mentioning on Facebook about should we be able to survive if your ship explodes in a fight, which obviously if your ship explodes, I would say kind of the question's no, but then with the speed that your ships blow up at the moment, how viable are escape pods? Because like in the Freelancer, you die so quick, you haven't got time to get out of your seat, get into an escape pod and jump off.
No, you do. You know pretty quickly whether you're
not
about
really.
To
I mean, some ships are about 2 hits and you're dead. So
the key is to not be not get tunnel vision. There's that point like in constellations, for instance. I've survived constellation explosions. You know, at a certain point, like my engine is out. Two of my engines are out. I'm still under attack by 4 or 5 guys. I'm done. There's no way I'm escaping this. I got to get out. And the thing is like the difference between like a freelancer and a constellation is that they both have the same concept. Is that they can easily come back, hop into your bed and eject it as an escape pod. The difference is that it takes so bloody long to jump into the bed and to get out of the seat. That it's like that you have to like time yourself being like, oh, I got to get out of my seat,
The animation takes half an hour.
You know, and then to get into the bed, just like, oh, I'm gonna grab this. 1, 2, 3, lift, jump. Oh, I'm gonna get a little comfortable here. All right, now let's escape.
So yeah, maybe that's what I mean more of like. There's no way I've got time.
Do you know what?
I think they're gonna cut those times down, aren't they?
Do you know what? He's like literally. That is the best answer I've ever heard. Like the Connie. Like, why the fuck does the chair have to spin around? It's literally facing forwards. You just get into it and you get out of it. You don't need to have the chair. I mean, it's cool that it does it, but he doesn't need to turn around.
I think that should be able to make it so, depending on where you're standing from, depends on how you access the.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the panels are up, there's nothing in front of you to stop you getting out of the front of the seat. Is there really?
Just keybind it to. Rush for R to get out of the seat, and S for slow, get out of the seat. Or
they are doing that. We've seen that.
And you're like, oh, I can slowly take my time and
But once you'll find that everyone will naturally start paying attention to the damage status, anyways. You know, when like using escape pods when permadeath comes in, 'cause you know you're going to have to get out a lot quicker. And you're going to be paying attention to that. And when you start seeing you're going from yellow to red in places, you're going to get out.
I think the bigger ships.
It takes longer to destroy. Honestly.
Yeah, they're going to improve.
That's what I still think. It's just that things blow up too quickly.
Too slow. Yeah. I think from a freelancer above. I mean, okay.
Anything that's got an escape pod should last longer. So
I'm in a Gladius with size 2 mass drivers, and I can blow up a freelancer reasonably quick.
That's what I'm saying. There's no chance for me to get out into my escape pod and go, oh, I've got to get out of it.
Nose goes yellow. Once the shields are down, nose goes yellow, goes red, is dead. Reasonably quickly. You know? I mean, unless he's a good pilot. Again, smart pilots generally back off very quickly once they've lost their shields. Stupid pilots stay in a circle strafe for ages. Well, ages being until they're dead. But I think that they definitely need to improve on the bigger ships from a freelancer and a cutlass above. They need to start to implement a bit more armor. They need to be a bit more tanky. They need to be realistically only taken down from things like Super Hornets and Sabres and I consider tier 3 or tier 2. Yeah, tier 3 fighters. A tier 2 fighter, say for example, a standard Hornet, would take a bit longer to take down a freelancer, but can kill it. A tier 1 ship, so for example, like an Aurora, shouldn't realistically be able to kill a freelancer unless the dude is the worst pilot known to mankind. You know, he should be literally stationary and have his shields down. Realistically, he can take his shields down, but it's going to take a long time to kill.
Miserable's a good pilot. He aims to blow up.
And I'm talking about with standard weapons. I think you can mix this up. Again, this is all this wonderful thing. Weapons change. You know, you can change your weapons on a standard Aurora to make it a bit more powerful. You can change the weapons on a standard Gladius to make it more powerful. So there's this wonderful amount of balancing that they have to do, which the poor dude's going to be doing it forever. You know, I do feel sorry for him. He's got a job for life. That's for sure.
Yeah,
it's good that you can change that. It's just a shame you can't change the Gladius cockpit in it.
Right. Anyway, so I think that's pretty much all the questions. I'm gonna have one more question for the guest because we can talk about this anytime. So just Paul, any thoughts on what we might be seeing in Gamescom and CitizenCon? Have you had any?
I have one after that.
Honestly, I think we'll see with Gamescom, we'll see something along the lines of Star Citizen based, something like a preview of something like mining or salvaging, something that's going to be not in the next 6 months, but then like a year. Like what we'll see come around May to July of next year is what we'll see there. Because that's generally what they do. They usually do about a year or 9 months ahead of time is what they show off.
Yeah.
And then they'll have like a teaser trailer for Squadron 42. And then at CitizenCon, we'll see Squadron 42 content. They have to show. They punted it last year. They punted CitizenCon last year for Squadron 42. Now they have to deliver. Like they can't just sit there and do nothing. If they sit there and do nothing, there's going to be a lot more complaints than
last time.
Here's the thing. Do you think talking about that? Do you think they'll show a vertical slice, or I mean, personally, I'd rather have a trailer.
If they use the term vertical slice at all in the in the next one, I am going to lose my shit because they said they would not do a vertical slice after because it was a waste of time. Yeah. If they say this is the new vertical slice, then I'm going to be like you. So you wasted time. You wasted another 8 weeks of dev time on a fucking vertical slice that you told this was a waste of time in the first place. Why the fuck did you do that? Just so you could sell more ships. And that's the at a certain point. I understand they need to sell ships to make money, but at a certain point, you as a community, you got to go.
What?
Stop contradicting yourself, you fucking assholes! Like,
good. I like this guy. Can we have him back every year?
Awesome. No, I think that's good. A fair point, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm looking forward to it because I'm thinking we're going to get like a good trailer. At the very least, with what we should get like a release date and a trailer.
Yeah.
For
I really hope so. I really hope.
Yeah.
Looking forward to ship
release date. Oh, would be so good.
Yeah. It's all going to be ship sales.
Are you trying to cuddle us, Astro?
No, yes, I'm trying to cuddle.
Of the five guys here, who's going to and also in chat, by the way, guys, thumbs up or whatever you guys do for. Are you guys who's going to CitizenCon this year? Who's got the tickets?
I'm not. I didn't get it.
Who's got a ticket?
Yeah.
I don't have a passport.
Yeah.
You got a ticket?
Yeah.
I don't have a ticket. I have a family. But
I don't know. I don't have a passport. So.
You don't have a passport because your mum hasn't done it yet. Okay, gotcha.
I got a lot of shit at work for ordering that ticket. I tell you that.
You've got it. You've got a ticket, son.
Hi.
Nice.
Dude, you bastard! Can I murder you and take it off you?
For me, it's very easy madness because of my family.
That might be divorced. You never know. Yeah. Oh, dude, that's awesome.
My hourly home is like 45 minutes away from the location itself. So for me, it's pretty damn easy to go from the UK back to the Netherlands and then go to the CitizenCon. Yeah.
I'm so jealous. Paul or AstroPub, sorry.
I'm not actually going to be able to make it because I don't have passports in line and all that kind of stuff. And I just moved, so it's pretty expensive. However, because I moved to Austin, the guys who were setting up VerseCon asked me to help them with some of the master ceremonies for VerseCon, which is kind of like a. It's like a use. Yeah, it's versecon.space/register if you want to get a look at it. It's going to be kind of like a UK or it's kind of like a US CitizenCon. Is what it's set up like.
Yeah, it looks so it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a 2-day event. One day is going to be for us to watch the actual CitizenCon live because it's a Friday here, and then Friday early here. And then the day after that is going to be, we're going to have like some competitions. We'll have maybe some panels. We'll have some demos. We have Track IR is coming down to show off and give away some stuff. And we're thinking about getting that's Ken. We're thinking about getting. We're talking to Thrustmaster to see if they'll come down. We're talking to a couple other people to see if they come down. So it's going to be like an event for you to come down and hang out with. It's a 21 and up though. So, but
yeah.
Should be good.
Yeah,
nice, cool.
This is good. 20. Well, alcohol, right? 21 in America.
Yeah, the same reason for BritCon. You had to be 18 and up.
18 and up.
We get trusted at 8 with alcohol at 18 over here, but then they get guns. So
yeah, we get guns at 16.
Guns at 6. Guns at 6 years old.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I think that's it. Really, we'll wrap it up. Thanks everybody for joining in chat. We'll just go around and see what everybody's doing this week. And then we'll end there. Paul, if you want to tell everybody what you're up to this week first.
So tonight is going to be, I may not be going live tonight because of a lot of issues with my computer. But if I do go live tonight, we'll do an update in terms of talking about this week. And I go live at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, which I believe is 3 a.m. and maybe 2 a.m. British Summer Time.
2 a.m.
Yeah.
4 a.m. and we were an hour ahead of GMT, so it might be 4.
4 a.m. by the way.
Yeah.
So I catch
so
the
4
tower
a.m.
interview normally in the morning. Yeah.
4 a.m. and then I usually go for about 4 hours. I go Monday through Friday on that schedule. Thursdays being the only day that I don't stream now because I've got a D&D game. And then on Saturdays, I do the Captain's Table, which is like a podcast like this where I bring in community members. We talk about Star Citizen, and it's new cast every week, except for me. You have to look at my ugly mug every week. And that happens at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. British Summer Time. And then Sundays I do like Pantsless of Pachinki, which is kind of a PUBG soap opera that we've been going for a very long time. It's kind of making fun of soap operas. But this week is going to be kind of cool because today I am probably going to do some Star Citizen, but tomorrow I'm doing Hellion, and on Wednesday I'll be doing VR. So I'll be doing probably some ship, some Star Trek bridge crew with some friends, and if that doesn't work out, then there's a couple other cool VR space VR games I'm going to be playing. So it'll be kind of cool.
Nice, excellent. Solitary.
I will be continuing on the branding, as I said earlier. I will be playing a bit more Hellion this week, as I'm really enjoying that one. Most definitely. On Friday we have I'm going to reinstate what we used to do on the Sunday, where we basically get drunk with a viewer when Madness is done playing.
Get drunk with a viewer.
So I have a special guest. I can't confirm yet, but if you follow me on Twitter, you'll definitely find out who that's going to be. But for the rest of it, and we have the 12-hour stream next week Saturday with a lot of giveaways, so definitely come and check it out. That's where we relaunch the brand and going to have a lot of fun.
Excellent. Cool. Madness.
Sorry, what we're talking about?
Okay,
I'm only joking. I will be. I'm very busy with work. I have crazy deadlines. We have fall 2018 Beachbody footwear to do. So I also have my shoe that I'm trying to in between all that and stream, and I'm trying to get a chicken dinner. For everybody that knows, I am still shy of it. I have got second place in Pug so many times. I was on Mad Rambo stream not too long ago. I am literally the most unluckiest son of a bitch when it comes to getting a chicken dinner. So even retards have actually got Pug like chicken dinners. Literally, people who are blind.
Easy.
I still haven't got it. So it's probably because I don't play
enough.
Go in a
server on your own. Just a
I think the plan is I'm going to try my best to stream that and try and get that to this out of the way with, because it's something that shouldn't be happening for some reason. I don't know why, but I seem cursed by the gods.
What you deserve.
I seem cursed by the gods. Also, Star Citizen, we'll have our normal Friday diner. If anyone's checked out my Friday diner, 1950 style, blah, 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 Americana thing, come and check that out. I do try to keep that going as much as I can, but I work from home, shoe designing, it's very fluid. Sometimes I'm very busy, sometimes I'm not. So yeah, so that's me. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, I would say definitely follow me on Twitter, because I always try and put out a tweet to say when I'm going live. So there's that, and I do creative stuff. And if people want to learn Illustrator or creative stuff, if you're a young person and are interested in footwear design or whatever, just hang out, chat with me. I'm very open. I do like to share the knowledge because people have done the same for me.
Cool.
Enough.
And Bio.
Can you load those images I've immediately loaded live, just because I wanted them to be loaded up earlier, but I forgot to ask you. Yeah, I've actually got a week off work this week, so technically it's like a holiday. So I'm going to be streaming later on today, so Tuesday, tonight, and then Wednesday and Thursday. I believe my son's still going to be at school this week because I don't think they have a holiday yet. So Wednesday and Thursday I'm going to be streaming twice. It'll be roughly 12 p.m. BST, so midday, for a couple of hours on both those days, and then I'll be streaming in the evening about 8 p.m. BST as well, and then Friday I'll be streaming 8 p.m. BST. So I'm going to be streaming every day this week, even Saturday, and then Sunday I'm at work, so I won't be able to until I get back to work. So it'll be about 9:30 BST stream. So yeah, every day I'm streaming this week, and I will be going to be start doing a schedule I'm going to be sorting out a schedule, and I'm going to be following that as close as I can as well. And what you can see on screen is the latest screenshots I've been taking. These will be uploaded soon. I'm going to try and get some more done, because everyone seemed to like the last ones I did, so I didn't think I would get that much of a hit, but I'm glad you all like them. So yeah, I'm going to do some more.
So what do we like?
Some of the screenshots I've done before.
Where are they?
So they're on stream now. So these are my new
in the first, man. He does some cool stuff there.
They are pretty cool. They are really nice. Yeah. I mean, with this new editor camera mode thing, whatever it is, there's some really, really
nice.
artistic shots and
Check you out with the little
videos and stuff as well.
Check you out with a fashion eye. Nice.
I do photography in real life, mate.
Check you out. You're like Austin Powers. You just like you shout at things and say, "Grrr." Give me a tiger, baby. Give me that saber tiger.
Like people that watch my streams when I'm doing it, they can tell. Like I spend ages trying to find the shot, and I take so many. Like one of my hard drives is just full of just like continuous like
strike a pose.
Right. But yeah.
Excellent.
Nice one, man. I like it. I like the things you do.
Too much leg.
Thank you.
Too much leg.
I was gonna actually correct myself because I realized that this Tuesday is actually a special day here in the United States. It's July 4th, the day that we finally cast the T into the harbor and said enough of this British bullshit. So
that was the best Brexit ever, man.
I actually have
the best Brexit ever.
Desmarius has sent me a Brexit T-shirt that basically says that sorry UK, but America had the best Brexit ever. No, so I've got the T-shirts. I was going to wear it today, but
I will have a special stream tomorrow in honor of the most American of American days. So it'll involve explosions and fireworks and an old friend to the stream that comes back every once in a while in his broness. So
are you gonna wear that really that really big American style kind of hat?
No, I'm in Texas, so I can't. Here, hold on.
You're in Texas. What, is that not part of America?
Wear that.
You get shot on sight.
So I'll be wearing at least this tomorrow.
Oh no!
So
look at that! I like that.
Wow. That's.
We're getting a sneak preview, guys. I like that because considering it is technically the 4th right now, so it's not really.
Yeah, so we're all right.
It's in our country. It's
the 4th for you. It's not quite yet. I don't think it's even officially
They're
the 4th
not independent
until
yet. They're still attached.
Yeah.
Until
sneak peek.
Until later.
Sneak peek.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Right, let me get the raids done.
Thank you so much, Astropub, by the way, for coming on.
Yeah.
It's really
Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for letting me come on. And
you'll come again?
Spread my shit all over this stuff. Yes, I will.
He'll definitely come again.
Yes.
Just not here. Okay, guys, I'm gonna look for someone to host.
I'm just doing the raids. There's this person called Jubra Unity.
By the way, Astro, you're more than welcome to invite everybody here to one of your shows as well.
I have Miz has been on.
Has he?
Bio and Madness. I haven't, and Solidarity. I'm invited you guys.
You've asked me before, haven't you? And I said it's because of time zones and my work. I don't know. Chance to.
Probably a good idea you don't invite me, but if you did want to, I'm sure I could arrange something.
We'll see.
But yeah,
that sounds so positive.
I'll try and see if I can.
The biggest issue is more like I try to get everybody I can in, and I try to invite lots of people. But the problem, my experience is that a lot of people will say, "Yeah, sure, I'd love to come on," and then like a day before, they're like, "Oh shit, that's at like midnight my time, and I got shit to do on Sunday because it starts at 11 p.m. your time, and it goes for 4 hours, between 2 to 4 hours, so it can go into like 2 a.m. on a Saturday night." A lot of people are like, I got better shit to do on a Saturday night than sit and talk about
being on the captain's table.
We might be a bunch of pricks, but we're a bunch of reliable pricks. So
this he's actually Sol's nailed it. Yeah. If I say I'm doing something, if I say I'm doing anything,
we'll do it. We'll do it.
That's what we're here for.
We're going to host someone, aren't we?
Yeah, who are we hosting, dude?
Okay, I did forget to say what I was doing, but I'm streaming tomorrow night, but probably do more painting of my Dungeons and Dragons figures. I've almost finished the one off for Des, and then I'll probably paint my Blood Bowl team that I've got to do, and then usual stream on the Friday, but I'm going to try and do some more morning streams as well. During the week now, try and up them a little bit more.
Check out this man painting, by the way. He does some great stuff in the Tuesday evenings. I have to say that. And it's really nice because that's just telling stories and shit, and you get really.
We call it Paint, Prattle and Roll because it's about Dungeons and Dragons. Desmarius just tells all these kinds of stories, and I'm sitting there letting you watch paint dry, basically. It's good fun. Okay, so there's someone that says first timer. Playing Star Citizen, so we'll go and host him. I think.
Give him some love.
Nice. That's always fun.
Jebro Unity.
Yeah, I don't think he's new to streaming, but he's new to
No, he's
podcasting by
not.
the
He's-
looks of it,
He has
so,
7,000 followers. Are you sure?
He's a partner.
that's alright, we'll go with
Fine.
him. It's fine. He'll love it.
I say
Maybe-
critical, man. I say
What?
critical.
So,
It
is
is
this,
partner, yeah.
this is a person that doesn't have boobs, or do they have boobs?
No boobs on this one. We're making no comment.
He has
on
one
that.
big boob on his head, I see.
Good.
Yes.
He's like board gamer.
I like to support.
Right, let us know when you're about to do it, then we can see.
Oh,
Oh, I
around.
think he's a.
Matt.
I think he might be a esports commentator.
Cool. We'll go and tell him how awesome Star Citizen is then.
Yeah.
We'll give him a host. Okay, guys, thanks everybody for joining us in chat. Once again, thanks AstroPub and everybody else.
See you
Have a good night,
around-
and we'll see
Yeah,
you
see you around the verse.
I will see you in the verse.
something like that. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hosted.
See you later.
We seriously need to work on that ending, guys.
Whatever.
I don't care.